the heat. My people are not fools on the heat. You must let my people go, so we can rule from Cape to Cairo. You must free my people's hands, so we can rule our purpose land. I wanna know who owns the land. Who wanna know who owns the land? Okay, now listen carefully.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Africa Broadcasting Service, coming to you as usual from the great state of Texas, precisely here in Houston, where I happen to find myself. Good evening for those of you tuning in from Asia, from the continental USA, from Canada, from South America, from China, from the European Union. Thank you for tuning in. It is very, very, very exciting, ladies and gentlemen, to be alive today, to see what goes on in the struggle for the actualization of the independence of the Southern Cameroons. And I am very, very glad I am part of it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure all of you out there would be very, very proud to be part of this struggle for the actualization of the independence of the Southern Cameroons. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why we see all the chaos out there is responsible for why struggles and revolutions go on for 20 years, for 30 years. But I'll bet you we definitely will get there. We definitely will get there. These are chaos or crises of growth, ladies and gentlemen. We should not by any means regret that we are here today. One thing remains certain. We will take this struggle to the ultimate end. Again, we will take this struggle to the ultimate end. Thank you once more for tuning in. I am really excited to be with you today. Please do me the favor. For those of you who are already joining the platform, go ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Hit your share button. Go ahead and hit your share button. It is looking very, very exciting today. I want to see in the next 5 minutes, I will have to wait until I see 1,000 people right here on the Facebook platform. So if you are there on Facebook platform, please hit your share button for as many times as you can today. Hit the share button for as many times as you can today. I will be right back while you hit your share button in 1 minute. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for staying put and hitting your share button. Thanks for staying put and hitting your share button. Please continue to hit the share button, and while you do so, let me do some housekeeping here. Now, coming up on Thursday, that will be the coming Thursday, they're going to be a huge gathering of all Ambazonians. Again, coming up on Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to be a huge gathering of all Ambazonians, talking about the APP. Now, the APP, because of the crisis ongoing right now, is being opened up. Ladies and gentlemen, it is being opened up. I mean, the meetings are being opened up so that Ambazonians from all nooks and crannies can come together and begin to put their heads together to figure out the way forward. And every idea is very critical, very important. And even those of you on ground zero, you are invited. It will be a virtual meeting as usual. You can log in, make your contribution without a lot of public to come around tracking you or knowing that you are in that meeting. Of course, we know there will always be infiltrators in meetings like this. When the meetings are not physical, there will always be infiltrators, but not to worry. Nobody's identity shall be revealed. We just want as many Ambazonians as possible, at least 1,000. Thank God we have a Zoom plan that can hold that much. So please start planning for that meeting next Thursday or on Thursday, 9 p.m. Amber time. 9 p.m. Amber time. Start planning for that meeting. We want every Ambazonian to come in and tell us what you think is the way forward. Of course, we also understand the Restoration Council would have met before that. And that is why it makes this meeting very critical, ladies and gentlemen. It makes that meeting very critical. We are meeting on Thursday to figure out the way forward, and every one of you, as far as you are an independentist, ladies and gentlemen, as far as you are an independentist, you are invited, you are welcome. We just need to know your constituency. In other words, when you are joining the meeting, if you are from Bafut, you put against your name Bafut. If you are from Lebialem, you put your name Lebialem. If you are from, your LGA from Santa, you put Santa. From Ndu, you put Ndu. From Bale, you put Bale. From Tico, you put Tico. From Kendem, you put Kendem. This is all that we need. This is all that we need for everyone logging into the meeting on Thursday. And we are looking forward to at least 1,000 Ambazonians from all over the globe. The link for the meeting will go out before that Thursday. I'm just giving you a heads up, so you mark your calendar, you can plan it. If you have anything to do on that Thursday, plan to be in the meeting. It is very critical. We have to decide the way forward, and that has to be done by Ambazonians and not by any individual, ladies and gentlemen. All right, please, I am waiting for you. I have to see 1,000 people on my screen to start doing this presentation proper. I need to see 1,000 people. We are halfway gone. So please, if you are just joining, go ahead and you hit your share button. Go ahead and you hit your share button. If you are just joining, please do others that favor. Hit the share button. There are many of you out there in groups. There are many of you out there in the different groups. So please send the links. Send them the links. Let them know the anchor man is not live. He is alive. in spite of every bullet. You know, they just make me stronger and fired up, ladies and gentlemen. They make me fired up, fired up. Somebody said somebody said, give him 45 minutes and you will crush Chris and where? They've had 2 months, they haven't crushed me yet. Rather, the weight is really pushing them down. I'm sure you guys have listened to the audios out there coming from their meeting of yesterday. Chris Anu, ladies and gentlemen, is not being crushed. Remember, I said I have the final say in this thing, ladies and gentlemen. Not as God will put it, or not as God would say. No, but just being factual here, just being real, because you cannot hide the truth. You cannot trample, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot trample over the truth. The truth reigns. It reigns. Nothing you can do. You just cannot do anything for as long as the truth is concerned, ladies and gentlemen. So, please, again, I'm looking up to you to hit that share button. I want to see 1000 on my screen before I start bringing you this very, very important information that I bring to you today. It is very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. If you are joining by way of Facebook, hit your share button, send the link. Send the link to whosoever you know wants to watch the Anchorman today. Hit your share button. And I want to pass a shout out to every one of you Ambazonia Restoration Forces. I was talking to General No PT a few minutes ago before coming live, and they are really in excitement, ladies and gentlemen. They are not worried about what they see out here. They say they are soldiers. They are soldiers, and they are not interested in what the diaspora is trying to do. I mean, not the diaspora, I won't put it that way. A few misguided people in the diaspora, a few selfish people in the diaspora, ladies and gentlemen. But these boys on ground zero, Ambazonia Restoration Forces, they are ready. They are ready to stand up and take the war, in spite of what they see. Take the war, take the fight to La République du Cameroon. I want to thank all of you out there, every Ambazonia fighter out there, from Sako'S, ladies and gentlemen, to Nkambe. Thank you all for your service to Ambazonia. Nothing should discourage you at all. Nothing should discourage you at all. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, the fighters out there, if this war ends without victory for Ambazonia, I bet you some of your life, if not most of it or all of it, will forever remain miserable. I talk to Field Marshal the King almost on a daily basis. And one of the things that I think, ladies and gentlemen, all the time is, if we do not win this war, where is he going to go to? And you can therefore see the reason why we are fighting in every front, whether in the diaspora or on ground zero, to make sure that victory is ours. Victory comes to Ambazonia. Because, again, not only the fighters on ground zero, you will all agree with me that some of us in the diaspora may never see our homes again if we lose this war. Many of us who have put our faces out there and put our lives on the line may never see home anymore. That is why we have to fight, ladies and gentlemen. Any person, any individual who thinks that this struggle is about them. No, we will have to get rid of them before we take back the struggle, ladies and gentlemen. That is how resolved I am here, and I hope that each one of you out there is that resolved. We will not allow any individual or individuals, as you heard from their meeting yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, to hijack this struggle for independence. It is not meant for some people. I have said, so I got a call from somebody yesterday who asked me, Secretary Chris, what should we do now? What should we do now? According to you, how can we resolve this? How can we bring this chaos to an end? And I said to the man, sir, this is not about Chris Anu. What I would want to see is a new leadership for the struggle. And if it means letting this leadership, including Chris Anu, go away, so be it, ladies and gentlemen, so be it. We have lived through this struggle for the past 3 years. We have seen people, Ambazonians with money to support this struggle, pull out of the struggle because they lost confidence in the ability of the current leadership to powder the revolution. The money is dry. Look at the last draft, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the last draft. How many people drafted and how much came in? I was shocked. I was literally shocked when I heard the drafter, the resource mobilization, calling people and telling them, even if you don't have money to pay, just come in and draft. Just come in and draft. The whole idea was just about the numbers. Being able to announce at the end of the day, oh, Sako'S drafted 150,000. Oh, Momo drafted 500,000. It was all about the numbers. People were being called to just show up, pronounce a number, a figure. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a sham. And that is what we are standing up against. Corrupt leadership, the kind of 419 leadership that we do not want to see. So, if we renege, and the current corrupt leadership stays in place, ladies and gentlemen, by this time next year, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised we don't have a struggle anymore. Don't be surprised that the Republic of Cameroon goes back to preaching, what do they call it, special status. They go back to preaching special status in every one of us, and every one of us will start embracing special status, right? That is, if we do not remove the current leadership. Ambazonians have said they no longer trust this leadership to manage their funds, to manage their money. And so just imagine, if you let them stay, where will the funds come from to prosecute this war? The counties have said, we no longer trust the current leadership. They are calling upon their constituents, which means if you are in Bafut, in Bali, in Tico, in Moyoka, in the Malinde, in the Mbonge, in Menji, in Alo, in Wabane, in the Batibo, all this, the county chairs are saying, we have taken over control of our counties, and if you have funds for the struggle, send it to us. The counties, ladies and gentlemen, they no longer trust that the current leadership can powder the affairs of this struggle, and that is why they are calling their counties to get back home. In my own county, in Lebielem, I see people saying, you know what, let's gather together. Let everyone send his money to the county. Send your money to the county. That is what everybody is saying. It's essentially a vote of no confidence. A vote of no confidence on the current leadership of this struggle. When I started this thing, started telling them things were going wrong, ladies and gentlemen, 8 months ago, they called it Chris Anu plotting a coup d'etat. A coup d'etat in which country, ladies and gentlemen? A coup d'etat in which country? The problem that we have had, and I'm going to take time in the coming days to explain to you, the problem we have had up to today is ingrained in the fabric that is La République du Cameroon. We got into war because La République du Cameroon, when Ambazonians, Southern Cameroonians protested, agitated, ladies and gentlemen, for years, scores of years. When we protested, La République du Cameroon wanted the world to know Ambazonians, Southern Cameroonians don't have a problem. Southern Cameroonians have a Cameroon problem, which means a problem that is that can be found in every division, as they call it, in every province or region, as they call it. They refuse to acknowledge that Ambazonians, Southern Cameroonians had quite different problems. They refuse to see it. And what did they do? They look for cosmetic solutions, window dressing solutions. And they thought they were going to use that to pacify every one of us. They succeeded to pacify whole generations. But this is the Southern Cameroon's generation, ladies and gentlemen, that will not be pacified by that damn regime in Yaoundé. This is that generation that will not be pacified by the damn regime that is in Yaoundé. But unfortunately, we haven't caught the animal yet. We are not in Boya yet. But we see the people we elected and put in positions of responsibility, of leadership, just trying to do the same thing. When I raised these issues in cabinet 8 months ago and called for a meeting to fix it, ladies and gentlemen, not a single meeting was called. Instead, they leaked out the memo and they said Chris Anu is trying to plot a coup. Ladies and gentlemen. And the solutions that I suggested then the solutions I suggested then are the same solutions right now on the table. Get rid of this leadership. Ambazonians want a leadership that can bring others together, that can unite others. Again, there are very many people who have walked away from this struggle with their money, and they are not coming back until they see that there is a leadership that is trustworthy and that is responsible. Unfortunately, again, when I put those problems on the table, they pretended that no, the problem is between Iringwa and Chris Anu, ladies and gentlemen. I never made it between that woman and Chris Anu. They are aware about it. I give you a good example here. Cabinet, after I walked away, called for a meeting to discuss this problem and to solve it once and for all. When the meeting took place, of course, the president had dismissed the agenda of that meeting. In fact, he frankly told cabinet that he is the only one who can call a cabinet meeting and decide an agenda for the meeting. That's what the president told cabinet. There are cabinet members out there who will attest to this. He told cabinet he is the only one who can call a cabinet meeting and form an agenda. And his chief of staff told him, Mr. President, you are correct. However, you can incorporate these agenda items from your cabinet members into the agenda of this meeting. We got into the meeting, ladies and gentlemen, we got into the meeting. Mr. President, Mola Sako, it took 1 hour. 1 hour. No, he started the meeting by saying, ladies and gentlemen, he started the meeting by saying, this meeting is not going to be a conflict resolution meeting. This meeting is not going to be a conflict resolution meeting. That is a meeting, ladies and gentlemen, called by cabinet members. I wasn't even there, but it was called, summoned by cabinet members to resolve this problem. Just imagine if the president had allowed that meeting to take place as planned by cabinet members. No, he came in and said, only him can call a cabinet meeting and put an agenda on the table. And so when he went into the meeting, he started the meeting by saying, this meeting is not going to be a conflict resolution meeting. This meeting is not going to be a conflict resolution meeting. This came from him, the very first word that came from him to open that meeting. And then after that, he preached a sermon for over an hour on anger management, ladies and gentlemen. You know, trying to pacify, as if he was dealing with teenagers. With teenagers who really do not understand what manipulation means or what it is, ladies and gentlemen. But I said to him after his sermon, Mr. President, listen, you are a Bible student. I am equally a Bible student. There are certain things that do not need prayers. And if you are a minister, pastor, Christian, born-again Christian out there, you understand what I'm talking about. There are certain things that just do not need prayers. They need action. If things are bad, fix them. You cannot have a cup standing across the table from you and you are praying, God, bring me that cup. God, bring you the cup. Somebody has said, ladies and gentlemen, God doesn't produce juice. No, God doesn't produce juice. God gives us juice trees and we have to squeeze the juice out of the trees, ladies and gentlemen. So, when there are things standing in front of you that you can stretch your hand and grab, don't pray for that thing to come to you. If the president, Mola Sako, had just, ladies and gentlemen, say, okay, let's address these issues. Let's see what we can do. Let's fix them. We will not be here today. And maybe you would have been indoors for another term of office without the need for election and constitution cacophony out there. Maybe, just maybe, ladies and gentlemen. But in the fashion, in the manner of La République du Cameroon, Mola Sako pretended, no, there are no problems. There are no issues. No problems here. The problem is just the problem between Irene Gua and Chris Ano. I made it very, very clear in cabinet. This is not about Irene Gua and Chris Ano. I made it very clear in the Restoration Council. I made it very clear to the county chairs, and they can bear witness with me. It has never been about Irene Gua and Chris Ano. It has been, ladies and gentlemen, about the dysfunctionality of the government, cabinet in particular. When you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where the president comes into cabinet and says, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. What is the need for cabinet? We did not start this way, ladies and gentlemen. Mola Sako started very well. We had everything on the table to discuss and agree for him to carry out. But suddenly, we started seeing decrees, sign in, so-called executive orders. We don't have a country yet, And certain things should not be done at the moment. Everything has to be done in a consultative manner. Consultative manner. That is one of the problems. There are no consultations. He comes in, he said, this is what I want to do, or he produces an executive order. And we ask him, what if the people you are producing these executive orders for, say, they're not obeying it, they're not respecting it? But look at it. He produces an executive order for elections in Momo. And ladies and gentlemen, he himself contravenes the executive order. His own executive order sent to conduct elections in Momo is contravened. And he accepts it. You know why? Because his cronies surrounded it. They go to Momo and the rules are laid aside. And one of the most important rules was, if you are not a CID payer, you cannot vote for any candidate. You cannot vote for any candidate. You cannot participate in the election, in the voting. You cannot even stand elections. But that too, they lay it aside right in the hall. And when the vice president says, Mr. President, your own order was contravened, this thing has to be, there has to be a redo of the elections. Instead of the president consulting, joining heads with his vice president to say, okay, if you say so, then let's just redo it and get over it. No. Because he is surrounded by these corrupt women with whom they are in a business league, against a Bitcoin league together, ladies and gentlemen. This is happening in Meme. This is happening in Fako. We're going to be talking about all these things along the way. Sako'S is worse. It's terrible. We now have AFCON, ladies and gentlemen, taking place very, very successfully in our territory, in Fako in particular. That is Mola Sako'S own backyard, his own neck of the wood. AFCON has just taken place. I called Dr. Sako again and again and again and again, about 8 months before AFCON, and I said, Mr. President, what is the plan? What are we planning? I made suggestions. He said, not to worry. We are working our plans with our military. You will bear witness with me, all of you, that in the past 2 months, or in all his television shows, all his featuring on television, he has not mentioned AFCON. He hasn't mentioned AFCON. And AFCON is about to be over. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about to be over. And we are still wondering what happened. But listen, we're going to get into these issues. We're going to get into these issues in the days ahead. Listen, if little things like AFCON, like CHAN, like mountain race, if we cannot stop those things, what are we fighting for? What are we fighting for? Ladies and gentlemen, what are we fighting for? But the main problem is the inability of the leadership to see, ladies and gentlemen, or to agree that there are problems. If they had agreed there are problems, we wouldn't be here today. Ladies and gentlemen, please again, if you are just joining, I want to see 1,000 people on my screen on Facebook before I start bringing you this presentation proper. This is very, very critical. 1,000 people to go. We are almost there anyway. So please, if you have just joined, hit your share button. Hit your share button if you have just joined. These things are very, very critical. I want to see 1,000 people on my screen before I bring you the presentation proper. It is very, very critical that you do so. Hit your share button. Less than 100 people to go anyway, so please quickly do that. So ladies and gentlemen, this is what is happening. This is what is happening, and if you have been listening to the audios out there from their meeting of yesterday, the chaos in there, I'm going to be talking about that today. The chaos in that meeting yesterday. Now, I'd like to inform all of you that for some reasons, good reasons, the vice president that I'm supposed to have today will not be here today. That interview, that discussion will take place, ladies and gentlemen, next week. This is for strategic reasons. So it's not as if he doesn't want to come on. Absolutely not. He just wants to come on. He desperately wants to come on. But for some reasons, which I believe are very strategic, he moved the meeting to, we're going to do it next week, either Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. Monday or Wednesday, he will be here. But I am very, very excited. We've got a lot to talk about today. We're going to be talking about, ladies and gentlemen, again, the meeting of yesterday. What went on there yesterday? The argument as to whose fault is it that the Constitution was not revised. The argument as to whether the swearing in of Dr. Sako'S was legal or illegal. We're also going to be zeroing down tonight on part of the fraud that has been part of this leadership. We're going to be talking about the Momo fraud that brought in Wan-No-Bi to rip them off $28,000, maybe more. The panel will let me know. But the total amount for that deal was $59,000. $59,000. The first payment that went in was $28,000. The balance was going to come in much later on. We are zeroing down on that story, ladies and gentlemen. So hit your share button. I will be joined also by the chief advisor to the president, who was, I don't know whether to use the word sacked because he has not been officially fired, but the president took him out of the Presidential Advisory Committee. The president took him out of that committee, took him out of the cabinet just about 2 weeks ago. He will be here to tell us what has been going on, within that presidency. What are they doing? That for all these years, the president is making choices that keeps on driving the struggle You know how you have a nail and you hit it with a hammer, you drive it in. That is what has been going on. Thank God we found out timely enough to puncture it, to put a stop, ladies and gentlemen, to that. So hit your share button. My panel will be here very, very shortly. Now, before I take you into those two main things, I have a very, very important item here I need to talk about. A very, very important item I need to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. As you find on your screen, the UNDP, United Nations Development Plan, UNDP, United Nations Development Plan, has resurfaced again with plans for reconstruction. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a note circulating on ground zero to different cooperatives. A note circulating on ground zero to different cooperatives. And the note is essentially asking for different cooperative members to come in, put in bids, contracts, ladies and gentlemen. Put in tenders for contracts for reconstruction. Now, they do not give it that name. They do not give it that name. This is what I found out there on the UNDP website, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I found out there. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's what the UNDP is advertising, and this is what the information says. It says UNDP call for proposals in Cameroon. Calls for proposals. What are proposals? Contracts, tenders. Ladies and gentlemen, UNDP calls for proposals in Cameroon. Deadline is January 31st. January 31st, 2022, and the statement reads, the United Nations Development Program is calling for proposals to support 5 community savings institutions affected by the crisis in the Northwest region to benefit from equipment, materials, to benefit from equipment. Equipment for what? Reconstruction. They are essentially looking for contractors. Ladies and gentlemen, they are looking for contractors. Okay, it says, the United Nations Development Program is calling for proposals to support 5 community saving institutions affected by the crisis in the Northwest region to benefit from equipment, material support, and technical backstop. I don't know what backstopping is, to strengthen their management structure and improve on service delivery. Improve on service delivery. Now listen. The government of Cameroon and the UNDP collaborated in the formulation of the presidential plan for reconstruction. Ladies and gentlemen, again, this is coming from the UNDP. It says the government of Cameroon and UNDP collaborated in the formulation of the presidential plan for reconstruction and development of the Northwest and Southwest regions. The plan fits into the government's efforts to resolve the current crisis. The plan, UNDP, fits in the current effort to resolve the current crisis. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not need to emphasize this anymore. We have banned the UNDP from carrying out, raising, erecting any stone anywhere in Ambazonia in the name of reconstruction, not over the graves of our people, not over the corpses of our people. If UNDP is interested in bringing development, in bringing peace into Ambazonia, let them start talking about justice. Let them start with justice and not about some pieces of bread that finish tomorrow. How about people? Why can't UNDP go and rebuild people's homes burned down by La République du Cameroun? If the UNDP, United Nations Development Plan, will step into the villages and build every single house burned down by French Cameroon terrorist soldiers, I will support that plan. I will support that plan. If they will go into every village, rebuild every single home burned down, the hospitals burned down, ladies and gentlemen, I will support that plan. Anything other than that, we do not want to see it. UNDP is a hypocritical organization under the umbrella of the United Nations. What we need in Ambazonia is justice, ladies and gentlemen. What we need in Ambazonia is an end to this war that brings about a free and independent Southern Cameroons. not some steely, sneaky, so-called reconstruction. What are you reconstructing, sirs? What was there that you are reconstructing today? What was there? The Bamenda Ring Road has been hanging there from Bamenda to Mbunda. Why can't you fix that road? That road has been lying there for years. The ring road in Bamenda has been lying there for years. How about the seaport that was promised us since we were babies? How about that? We were promised a seaport since we were babies. Where is that seaport? UNDP, you want to provide infrastructure that brings jobs? Build the seaport. Build the Bamenda Ring Road. Build the Bamenda Santa Road. And stop telling us about reconstruction that sends a message to the international community that La République du Cameroon is in charge of Ambazonia. They will never, ever be in charge of Ambazonia anymore. If you think that because of the division, the infighting, the crisis here, that you can just take advantage to do anything, we still have fighters. All our field marshals and the generals, they are still there on ground zero. We will send them after you. Every one of your equipment you bring to Ambazonia, and let me say this, if you are a contractor out there and you think that you can go to the UNDP, pick up equipment or take money for equipment for any reason, you are one. You are one. We will destroy every piece of equipment coming from the UNDP, United Nations Development Program in Ambazonia. We want the United Nations to step in, resolve this problem. Resolve this problem. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't need fish, we need net to fish. So if you are out there anywhere in Bamenda, in Boya, going in for any contract with the United Nations Development Program, you are doing so at your own risk. You are doing so at your own risk. Again, we will stop and confiscate. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me and listen really good. We will confiscate every piece of equipment belonging to the UNDP that is sent to Ambazonia at this time of war. You want to reconstruct in Ambazonia, sirs? Work for justice in Ambazonia. And when justice comes, we will all welcome you with both hands. With both hands to come and rebuild our roads. We welcome you with both hands to come and rebuild our hospitals, our schools, our homes, destroyed by your partner, La République du Cameroon. But for now, stay away from Ambazonia. Stay away from Ambazonia, UNDP. We do not want to see you. I hope you will listen to the sound of my voice, because Ambazonia restoration fighters are waiting for you and every piece of equipment you bring into Ambazonia. We will die for this, ladies and gentlemen. We have fought La République du Cameroon decades upon decades. This is our decade. This is our decade. Nothing. We will prepare to live free in jails. Live free in jails than to see this struggle scuttled by so-called international organizations. They are thieves. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. This information is very, very critical. Very, very critical. Please do not risk your life. Do not risk your business by taking any business, any contract from the UNDP. Do not try. Do not try. Avoid UNDP reconstruction in Ambazonia. We will not allow it to happen. You take it at your own risk. They say a word to the wise is enough. A word to the wise is enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, I can't make it any clearer. That is it. Now, I'll take you, ladies and gentlemen, to the meetings of yesterday. The meetings of yesterday. The The meetings of yesterday with Dr. Sako'S outgoing government. Dr. Sako'S outgoing government. I'm sure most of you have listened to the audios coming out from that meeting of yesterday. Listen to it, ladies and gentlemen. This is my take from those meetings. This is my take from those meetings, and it is very, very important. All of you should take note of it. Now, Dr. Sako called for a meeting. He calls it the APP. Yeah, well, that is not the APP that we know. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not the APP that we know. The APP meeting he called for yesterday has no resemblance of the APP that we know, the Ambazonia Peace Plan that we know. The Ambazonia Peace Plan that we know originated from a conclave in Berlin, Germany. I think that was 2018. And it was made very clear. The APP can never be proscribed. It can never be proscribed. But you will recall that in his speech on New Year's Eve, I believe, Dr. Sako proscribed that APP, Ambazonia Peace Plan. Now, for those of you who do not know, the APP is the largest intergovernmental gathering of all the interim government of Ambazonia. It comprises of all the county chairs, all LGA chairs, all cabinet members, the Restoration Council members, everybody with a position that you can imagine in the interim government, including military officials. But last week, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Sako proscribed the APP. He proscribed the APP because after trying to break up the interim government, the APP stood up to him and said, Mr. President, you cannot proscribe the APP, you cannot break up the interim government, and refused to disband. They refused to disband. And so yesterday, thinking that the APP, the regular APP, was going to be meeting yesterday, he called for another APP. He calls it an APP, and it was chaos. It was chaos in there, ladies and gentlemen. Now, those of you who were in there would have come out realizing, understanding why, yes, I advocated for the firing of Miss Irene. I did. And you have now seen it for those of you who were in there yesterday. I believe you saw that. The audios are out there. Ladies and gentlemen, the audios are out there. I'm sure you got a taste of what I was referring to when I asked that she be taken out of cabinet. You cannot have one person leaking stuff out of cabinet all the time. You cannot have one person calling activists, giving them information to take out against members of government. You cannot have one cabinet members going into the National Treasury demanding for information about Restoration Council members who have not paid their draft, and cabinet members who have not paid their draft. She demanded that information be extracted, given to her. She can pass to Ochiba, and Ochiba will take it out. Ladies and gentlemen, these are facts. These are facts. Now, I'm saying all of this besides the ranting audios, inside of the cabinet, ladies and gentlemen. But again, those of you who were there yesterday, you had a taste of the nastiness of that lady. You heard it. The audios are out there. But that is not the main thing here. The main thing was the discussion on the Constitution and elections in that meeting of yesterday. Dr. Sako essentially said he's a victim. He's a victim. And I heard others blaming the Restoration Council for not revising the Constitution, the Restoration Council for swearing in the president in the last term without revising the Constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, they poured all blame. In fact, I have listened to audios from Restoration Council members. I've read write-ups from Restoration Council members who were in that meeting yesterday. They had a cup full. They had a cup full of their own. Now, I like to say this. They blame. I saw them blaming the Restoration Council. One problem that I realized, ladies and gentlemen, is that even the members of the Restoration Council seem not to be reading their own books that guide them. They don't read their own terms of reference. They don't read the Constitution. I have not seen a single Restoration member who has gone out there to accurately interpret, ladies and gentlemen, interpret the Constitution. None of them has articulated exactly what the relationship between the Constitution and the Restoration Council and the executive. Because I heard some people say, oh, we had a meeting in the night and we quickly agreed that the president's terms of office is 2 years. Did you really have a meeting in the night? Of course, I heard the secretary said, no, it was not rushed. They had a meeting. But that is not the point. This is the point, ladies and gentlemen. The Restoration Council has a term of reference, what we call TOR, TORS, T-O-R-S, TORS. The Restoration Council has a term of reference. The Constitution, I wish I had it in front of me to quote those paragraphs. The Constitution refers to the Restoration Council term of reference. Please go and read the Constitution. The terms of reference the terms of reference of the Restoration Council, ladies and gentlemen, was signed by the chair of the Restoration Council and the president at that time, Dr. Samuel Sako. It became law. It became law. Now, the Constitution refers to these terms of reference. And it says that the terms of reference also says the Restoration Council can make rules for now and laws for the future. Please, somebody should ask for the terms of reference of the Restoration Council endorsed in the Constitution of Amazonia. The Restoration Council can make rules for now and laws for tomorrow, which is what makes it legal. When they sat in the meeting to decide to impeach Sisiko, they were making a rule for now at that moment, ladies and gentlemen. When they sat in the meeting to decide they will give Dr. Samuel Sako 2 years tenure, they were making a rule for that moment. And the Constitution says the Restoration Council can supervise the cabinet, the executive. Go and read your Constitution. It is all there. So this argument that it was a fraud, the Restoration Council wasn't supposed to do this, to give the president 2 terms, ladies and gentlemen, is a fraud. It's a fraud. The Restoration Council had every legal power to do what it did. What they did not do, and both of them, ladies and gentlemen, what they did not do was to, in fact, ladies and gentlemen, let me read something here from, I think it is part of that Constitution. It is very important. I see a lot of ignorance out there, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this, ladies, and let me read this. Where is it here? Okay. Let me read this piece to your hearing. Oh no, I don't. Where is that? Where is that piece? Give me a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Let me locate. Let me locate that that piece. It is very, very critical that, ladies and gentlemen, we are reading the documents that govern us. It is very, very critical. We read the documents that govern us. Else, you will go out and talk blindly, argue blindly, without the facts, in front of you. It is very, very critical. I just want to read a brief paragraph. Oh my, where is it? Okay, I think I got it here. Now, I'd like you to listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this. Listen to this. Resisting elections, which tantamount to obstruction to a peaceful transition of power, considering, oh no, I don't, it should be noted that the terms of reference of the Restoration Council are constitutionally barred. The terms of reference of the Restoration Council, listen to me, are constitutionally barred by Article 15, subparagraph 8. Article 15, subparagraph 8 of the Interim Constitution. And that as per Article 6.3 of the present terms of reference of the Restoration Council, signed by both the President and the the President and the Chair of the Restoration Council. Decision, it says, decision making without consulting the Cabinet. Oh my, ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. I wasn't ready to bring this to you, but I will get this to you next time. I'm just confusing the material here. But this is the point. This is the point. The Restoration Council has a term of reference signed by the President and the Chair of the Restoration Council. Now, the terms of reference of the Restoration Council is also reflected in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. And in the term of reference, it is stated that the Restoration Council will make rules and laws. It specifically says rules for now, for the immediate, and then laws for the future. So you can understand why there was no impeachment in the Constitution, yet there was an impeachment, isn't it? You can understand why there is no tenure in the Constitution, mentioned in the Constitution, but they had to sit and make one. It is in their terms of reference and it is endorsed by the Constitution, ladies and gentlemen. So all this argument out there, oh, it is a fall of this, it is fall. The Restoration Council acted legally. The only thing they failed to do, and it's on both sides, is that they waited for the 2 years to expire doing nothing. Both the executive, and in fact, I will blame the executive more because it wasn't the place of the Restoration Council to call for constitutional reform. They could, but it was incumbent upon the President. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the executive to ask the Judiciary Council to work on that and then consult with the Restoration Council. He did not do that. So his argument last night was that the two tenures were illegal. The constitution is illegal, which means his own term has been illegal. The reason why he should go. If the constitution that swore him in is flawed, is illegal, then his tenure is also illegal. The reason why Ambazonians want him to leave. And I think that is the resolve of every Ambazonian out there now. So Ambazonians, I hope you have listened to those audios making the rounds, all the vilifications and the attacks on members of the Restoration Council, particularly the vice president, the vice chair of the Restoration Council, and the chair of the Restoration Council. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen, what went out there. What went on out there. Okay, I think somebody just sent this to me. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is this document is the terms of reference and mandate. The terms of reference and mandate of the Restoration Council. Listen to subsection 6. Subsection 6 on jurisdiction. On jurisdiction of the Restoration Council. Listen to it. It says, number 1, as custodian of the people's interests and their needs, the Restoration Council plays the role of the legislature in the interim and has jurisdiction over holding all accountable, in the execution of any business that is in the interest of the people of Ambazonia. They have jurisdiction. So paragraph 2 says, the Restoration Council does so by directly calling the executive to account. By directly calling the executive to account, or through its agents like the Ethics and Compliance Commission, State Accountability Office, amongst others. Paragraph 3 says, the Restoration Council also has jurisdiction on mandates. Listen to that. The Restoration Council also has jurisdiction over mandates or on mandates to the executive and monitoring its implementation through different committees set up. Ladies and gentlemen, it is as clear as day and night. As clear as day and night. But we will leave that here for the moment and come back into it another day when I'm going to be inviting a panel of people who would have studied both the terms of reference and the Constitution to come in and enlighten, throw more light on this subject. But again, this is not supposed to be a subject of debate. It should not be a subject of debate, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Sako'S has to be impeached. He has to be impeached. Now, this is important now. In the Constitution, this is just forwarded to me. The Constitution, I don't know what paragraph is this, what section is this, but I see paragraph 7 says, the Restoration Council shall strive to achieve decisions by unanimous vote. The Restoration Council shall strive to achieve decisions by unanimous vote. Otherwise, a simple majority, ladies and gentlemen, a simple majority vote of the council sitting in person or virtually, as in Zoom, shall carry the day. In addition to the aforementioned, the terms of reference or mandate shall, that is the term of reference of the Restoration Council, shall guide the workings of the Restoration Council under the direction of the chairperson and a two-third majority vote. This manual may be updated periodically to keep current and adapt to changing circumstances. Again, this is part of a constitution that I bring to you, ladies and gentlemen. When people are trying to stay in power for eternity, like they do in a lot of political Cameroon, you know what they do? They get back to the constitution and recircle it every time elections are near. Recircle the constitution. Every time elections are near, recircle the constitution. This is what we are running away from. This is what we are running away from. Never, never shall we get back there. All right. I'd like to get you to the main subject of the day here, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to get you to the main subject of the day here. Talking about, ladies and gentlemen, the fraudulent deals carried on in Momo County. The fraudulent deals carried out in Momo County by the president, and hold the line, please. Talking about, again, the fraudulent deals carried out in Momo County by the president and a young man called Wan-No-Bi. A young man called Wan-No-Bi, the man whose face you find on the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, Wan-No-Bi, the person on your screen, was brought in, introduced to the Momo people. He was brought in, introduced to the Momo people by Dr. Samuel Ekome Sako for a deal in what we call ground one. Mr. Wan-No-Bi was given $28,000. Again, it may be more, it may be more, it may be more, I may be wrong. But the witnesses are here. The witnesses are here, and they will give us the details of the story. So Mr. Wan-No-Bi was brought into Momo by Dr. Samuel Ekome Sako, ladies and gentlemen, for a deal that was meant to assist our restoration fighters in Momo. He collected, as I'm told, $28,000. That is about 15 million francs CFA, probably a little more than that. 15 million francs CFA, and he disappeared with the funds. After the deal, the arrangement never worked. It appears that the Momo County, the leadership of Momo County, ladies and gentlemen, discovered that the deal was a sham. They discovered the deal was a sham. And the person who is the chairman, who claims to be the chairman of Momo County now, Barrister Valentine Ghana, sent out this statement. The statement you'll find right now on the screen. And the statement reads, "Dear Amber 61 chairpersons." Now, for your information, Amber 61 refers to all LGA chairs. All LGA chairs, and Barrister Ghana wrote this statement as chair of Mogamo LGA. And this is what he wrote. "There is a gentleman in Canada, an indigent of Manu named Don Wan-No-Bi. I think Don Wan-No-Bi is from India. I think so. I may be wrong. If there is anybody or any LGA in the current transaction for tools and or training with Mr. Don Wan-No-Bi, I, as the LGA chairman of Mogamo, strongly advise that you cease and desist dealing with him, funneling any funds to him, funneling any funds through him, or entrusting any funds or anything of value to him. Your funds are highly likely to get swindled based on the experience of at least one LGA. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, that came in from the chairman of Mogamo LGA then, Comrade Barrister Valentine Ghana. Now, I have with me, ladies and gentlemen, people who were in that deal. Hello, can you hear me, please? I think he is muted. I'd like to bring in a comrade from the Maryland area who was part of this deal, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to bring him now by way of phone. I will be joined by Comrade Jackson and Dr. Atienjo, and we are going to get into the details of this scam. Hello, sir. Hello.
Hello, Secretary Chris.
Thank you for joining me, sir. You are live with me. I don't know if you want to mention your name or not. It is okay if you don't want to mention your name.
No.
Okay, all right. So tell me,
Yes.
you were part of Mogamo LGA and Momo when this deal was brought to your county and to your LGA. Tell me, how did you people come across Don Wan-No-Bi? How did it begin?
Thank you, Secretary Chris, for bringing me on your platform. When we did our draft in Mogamo LGA, we collected the draft money which people sent in. Then the president came to us at that time, which we were like the caretaker team. The president came to us and said that there is a deal that is going on, and he want Mogamo to take advantage and participate in that deal. And then he told us that the deal, and when I say the president, I mean Dr. Sako'S.
Okay.
Yes. He told us that the deal is a deal that belongs to Ndian. That deal is from Ndian, and Ndian already have boys in Grand 1 for the deal.
Okay, hold on, comrade. Let's get the narrative straight. The president came to you after the draft.
Correct.
And said there is a deal originating from Indian.
Correct.
Okay, and then go ahead.
He said the deal is a deal that is supposed to be carried out by Indian. Then he said he want Mogamo to participate in that deal. Now, he was asked that now that they have not vetted our draft, how does he want us to participate in that deal if the Intergovernmental Overseas Committee come to vet our draft? What will happen at that time? He said when they come, we should say he, the president, said give order the project. So when we went into this deal, he said it was from Ndian and they need 20 boys to train them. Later on, after some week, he came back and said, no, Ndian, the person in Ndian who was supposed to release the money, have refused to give the money. So he want Mogamo to send all the boys. We said, okay, we have 10 boys. He said, no, they want 20 boys. At this time, that is when he brought in Don Wan-No-Bi and said Don Wan-No-Bi will be the one to handle the project. So before him bringing Don Wan-No-Bi is when we have already accepted with him. He has already introduced the project to us, and it was something we accept to go in for. Now he went and brought Don Wan-No-Bi and said, oh, the project will be handled by Don Wan-No-Bi. Now when Don Wan-No-Bi came in, both of them now in the meeting start saying, okay, the project was for Ndian, but Ndian, they don't want to release the money, so Mogamo should send all the boys. We said, okay, we have 20 boys. They said no.
Comrade.
Yes.
What year was this? 2020?
That was in our 2020 draft.
Okay.
2020 draft.
All right, go on.
Yes. All right. So they say the person who is doing this training is not accepting 10 boys. He wants 20. He wants 20. We accept
Did they tell you, who told you of this training? Don Wan-No-Bi or the president?
The project was introduced to us by the president.
Okay.
Then Don Wan-No-Bi was brought in as somebody who is going to handle the project.
Okay.
Yes, that's how it was. It was introduced by the president, and Don Wan-No-Bi was brought by him as somebody who is going to handle the project.
Okay.
Yes. So now the project, when Don Wan-No-Bi came in, they brought the project cost was going to be $59,000 US dollars.
Okay.
Now Don Wan-No-Bi, when Don Wan-No-Bi came in, he said all the money need to be paid upfront. We said no, we can't do that in a project.
And how much was all the money?
59,000 US dollars. That was the money when he came in. He was requesting for the project 59,000 US dollars.
59,000 US dollars.
Correct. We have all those screenshots of the money and all what they wrote in that money. That money have some things that they wrote on how the project was going to be, what would be the benefit of the project, that is the content of the project was written in that small paper where that money was.
Okay. So I have it here.
No, we said no. Yes. So we said no, we cannot pay you all this money. We are going to start giving money. We give the money part, and in the middle of the project, another part will come in.
Okay.
So it was done. It was accepted. On the day that these boys they need to leave, we were supposed to give 20, but we had just 17. We had just 17, and that 17. The reason we have 17 was because they were supposed to leave. Some of the 3 boys they went somewhere on which they couldn't meet up. So the 17 went. But when these boys went when these boys arrived ground 1, Don Wan-No-Bi did not pick them where he said he was going to pick them.
Was Don Wan-No-Bi physically on ground 1?
He was not. He okay, let me say something. Don Wan-No-Bi told us that this project was backed up when the president brought him. He said this project was backed up by a retired senator, a retired general, and governor
of Nigeria.
In ground 1 of ground 1. That was what he said.
Yes. That the project was backed by a retired senator and a retired governor.
General and governor.
General and governor, okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Those were the people he said they were backing this project. So the project, there were some of the things that he was saying, guaranteeing how the project will look. Then he said that this project, these boys, when they go to ground 1, they are not going to stop anywhere. They are going straight to where they will do their training. And the training will be a month training, which will be a combat training. And then they're going to cut them the stuff they use on the ground. The medicine, they'll cut them the medicine on them. And when they are coming back, they will come completely like a soldier.
Okay.
They will come completely like a soldier, yes. So when this boy get there, he did not pick them on the day that they arrived there. As discussed, he didn't pick them. The next day when he sent somebody to pick them, when this person picked them, he took everything that these boys have, their IDs and everything. When I say everything, I mean the way they were.
The person who picked the boys was sent by Don Wan-No-Bi?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So when they picked these boys, they took everything these boys have. Then he took these boys to a hotel.
What do you mean? What do you mean by they took everything the boys had?
Their ID, some went with their birth certificate, it was taken. Their phones they have, it was taken. Their bags, everything was taken.
Okay.
Yes, they said it was for security reasons.
Okay.
Which sound okay to us at that time.
Okay.
So they took these boys, they went and launched them in a hotel. Now we were asking, why will you go and launch them in a hotel? You said the training was going to start immediately they get there. Why are they not in the hotel? He said, no, in the hotel they are going to cut them the medicine. We asked question like, who cut medicine in the hotel?
Yeah.
He said that is how they're going to do it. The next day, it was Monday when they get there, Tuesday when they went to that hotel. On Wednesday, these boys were picked up from that hotel. Now, when they was picked up, Don Wan-No-Bi, they came now. And Don Wan-No-Bi said he have one inspector general in the capital of Nigeria, that this inspector general is going to order for their release. And he is requesting 1.5 million naira.
1.5 million.
Yes.
Was that a part or separate from the 28,000?
This 1.5 is separate from the is 27,000. It's 27,000, not 28. It's 27,000. This 1.5 million is separate from the 27,000 US dollars.
Okay.
That was already there. Now the 1.5 million US dollar, 1.5 million naira was given, and nothing happened. He came again and said, "Oh, he have a lawyer in Ground One. This lawyer was going to follow up the."
He came back after receiving the 1.7 million naira. He came back and said he has a lawyer.
A lawyer in Ground One, and the lawyer was going to follow the case.
Okay.
The lawyer is requesting 15 million naira.
Wow.
That was what he came back and said, that the lawyer is requesting 15 million naira. After strong negotiations, we end on 7 million naira. We end on 7 million naira. Now, that money went. Nothing was happening. The lawyer was not even going to court to represent these boys. We send money for food to all the people. Don Wan-No-Bi said, okay, these are the people that they have access to the boys. But after a month, we realized all the food money is not even arriving where the destination. It doesn't go to the destination. It's not even going to the boys. So these boys were there. All the food money that we were providing, they were not having it. Now we stop it. Then they
hold on there. Hold on there. All these amounts you are referring to, are they separate from the $28,000 that we know, or they are all the sum total?
Secretary Chris, any amount that I'm calling from here is separate from the 27,000 US dollars. This now was personal out of pocket money that individuals, the caretaker team, was now spending.
Okay.
To see that these boys are safe. Yes, it's not even part of the money that the D is not even part of the D package. It's now extra money being spent.
Okay.
Yes.
So he said he has a lawyer in Nigeria.
Correct. And that lawyer was requesting 15 million naira. After negotiations, we ended on 7 million naira.
And 7 million naira is how much in dollars?
At that time, we were doing an exchange of 400 and I think it was 440 US naira in $1 US at that time.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you give me some time, I send you all that information. Yeah.
All right, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
So yes,
So,
you demanded all this.
He demanded all that. And even the food money, it was not going to these boys. The lawyer was not.
So did you give him, did you put this money into his hands or the personalities he recommended?
Okay, what happened with this money is he brought the lawyer and said, okay, this is the lawyer I have. You know, he give contact and say, oh, this is the lawyer I have negotiated. And this lawyer need this money. Now, he said that lawyer was somebody who was going to represent that boys, and he need this amount of money. We negotiated with him, and the money came to that 7 million, and it was going to that lawyer. He was the one who knows the lawyer that he brought.
Okay.
So that money was going to the lawyer guy.
Okay.
Yes, and then he provide people whom he said they have access to the boys in Sir, and so anything concerning food should be given to those people. And the money was given to those people, and it was not arriving the boys in the Sir.
Okay.
And, Secretary, let me also say that despite the money given to the inspector, to the lawyer, at the same Sir that these boys were, the police, some of the police also took money, which at the end nothing was happening. He was recommending, he was the one bringing all those things and say, okay, this person need money, this one need money to solve the problem.
But if I may ask you, comrade, this guy was all the way in Canada, and some of you were on ground one. How did you believe? How did you even think somebody all the way in Canada was going to bring a solution to these boys?
Okay, Secretary Chris, let me say something here. When the president brought Don Wan-No-Bi and said this is Don Wan-No-Bi who is going to handle this project, we never knew Don Wan-No-Bi. In the struggle, we had no idea who Don Wan-No-Bi was. When the president brought him, we thought it was somebody who handled any security stuff in the IG.
Yeah.
We believe that he was the 100 IG project, because the president is the one bringing him to handle a project which he proposed.
Okay.
A project which was brought by him, so he brought the one of it. That we knew that this is somebody who has been handling the project in the IG.
Right.
Yes. So let me go back to what was happening in Ground One after these boys were arrested.
Okay.
Even with the police that Don Wan-No-Bi recommended and the money was given to them, nothing was happening. Then Don Wan-No-Bi and they went ahead and drafted a document saying that these boys should sign it, and said that they went to Ground One illegally.
Do you have that? Okay. Do we have that document? Or was never drafted?
That document, let me finish on you. The document, I don't know if we can still have a hand on it. Or
Okay.
not. If I check with other members, we might have it somewhere.
Okay.
So when this document, they drafted this document and said that these boys will be handed back to the immigration. Who is the immigration? That's La Republique immigration. They
Oh,
wanted this
our boys were going to be handed over to La Republique immigration.
Correct. If they sign that document, they will be handed over to immigration. And with me, immigration, that is the La Republique immigration. That these are Cameroon, according to their own way, according to Nigerian way, calling us Cameroonians. They will say, these are Cameroonians who come to Nigeria illegally, so they are giving them back.
Okay.
That's how it was going to work. So when one of our caretaker team members said, "Look, bring the document, let us review it and see what your lawyer and you guys have written."
Yeah.
When they brought the document, we saw that, and the team said, "No, this cannot happen. These boys cannot be handed to any immigration." No, and the president was there. He was there with the same idea that we should sign the document should be signed, and that happened.
Dr. Sako agreed that you should sign the document and hand over our boys to La Republique immigration.
Secretary Chris, all that document was reviewed with the president there, with Don Wan-No-Bi, and that proposal was already accepted that the boys should sign the document. And they will be handed to immigration. Let me tell you what they told us. That if they sign the document, they have somebody who worked in immigration. When they take the boys, they will release them halfway. That was the story. And we didn't die to that. So we said, no, we didn't believe that. We said, no, we don't accept it. We don't buy to that story.
Okay.
Because all the stories you have been given, none of them have worked. Now you are telling us that you have somebody in immigration, that if these boys are being released to immigration, the person will leave them on the way. We say no. These boys have made their clear statement, and that is the true statement they have made. They were refugees. They left the refugee camp to go fishing, to look for something to eat. So why are they going to be given to the immigration? Why? So now we refuse. We keep them there. Now we have to go and look for another lawyer by ourselves. Brought the lawyer in, paid him another money separately from the one we have already spent from the commissioner, the police, and the lawyer by Don Wan-No-Bi. But this other lawyer didn't he didn't even request for million naira.
Comrade, hold on there. The 59,000, which was supposed to be the total cost of this project, came from who?
The $59,000, which was supposed to be the total cost of this project, was not tabled down when Don Wan-No-Bi was brought in as the person to handle the project. He now bring the total how the project is going to cost.
So it was Don Wan-No-Bi who put down the budget of 59,000.
Yeah, he brought that document tabling those things that it will be 59,000. At the time the president was introducing the project, he was only telling about how the project will look, what will be in that project, what the boys will come back with if they go for the project, how the training will look like.
Okay, now
So
the training never happened.
The training never happened.
The training never happened. Our boys were picked up. Now, how were they released?
Okay, now, after all the expenditures that we have spent and the money gone, we have to look for another lawyer by ourselves. And the lawyer now came in and requested for 800,000 naira, which 500 was going to be for the boys, and 300 his transport to go to live from a different state to another state where the boys were.
Okay.
When he went the first time, there was some improvement. The first time he went, and that was actually the first time these boys were represented by a lawyer for being there for about 7 months. He served. Now the lawyer, when he went, he didn't remove them that same day. He has to sleep. Since there was some improvement, he slept there. The next day, these boys were released. They were released, but he requested for an immediate bail charges, which was 50,000 naira per boy per head.
That's
17 of them.
That's the lawyer, right?
Yes.
All right. Let's leave
the money the court requested, not the lawyer.
Let's leave those details. Tell me, when the entire deal failed with $28,000 or 27, as you put it, in the hands of Don Wan-No-Bi, what was the approach? What did you do to try to get it back, or you didn't?
Secretary Chris, there were uncountable meetings with Don Wan-No-Bi and the president, and to be frank with you, in those meetings, Don Wan-No-Bi, most of the meetings, one thing was when we started the meetings, he said he was going to give 25% of the money. He said he was going to give 50. He said he was going to give 50% of the money. Yeah, it was 50% of the money.
Okay.
But at the end, after we consider, as we continue going on and attending meetings, organizing meetings, talking about the money, he start changing the story and say, oh, the people who was supposed to train the boys, some of them have removed them from their post. They have been sacked. Those were the stories that start coming in. That the people were supposed to do that. The people who took the money that have been sacked. This person is no more in his position. Then at some level he gets so aggressive. He gets so aggressive,
Uh-huh.
and at the end, when the Mogamo did their election, put their new chairman, with transition everything to the new chairman, and the project was declassified to him, and a deal was arrived with the president, with Don Wan-No-Bi, that with the new chairman of Mogamo, that any money that Mogamo LGA is supposed to give to the federal government will be that 27,000 will be deducted from it. That's how they did. That's how the stuff ended. But I don't think the money has been deducted because Mogamo has still given money to the federal government.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what happened after the deal failed.
So the president was committed to getting Momo or Mogamo recovering the funds
Mogamo.
from his 20%, is it you said?
Correct. From the 20% that the Mogamo LGA was supposed to give from the draft to the federal government. And the president was okay with that agreement. But in the long run, after that agreement, the Mogamo has still given money to the federal government, which means that 27,000 is still missing.
So nothing came in.
Nothing came in.
And what has the president said?
Secretary Chris, when we handed over to the president, to the new chairman, that was the deal that we arrived when we hand over.
Okay.
So if there is any other thing that the president has said, or whatever deal they must have gone into after that to disqualify that agreement, it must have been between the new chairman and the president.
All right. Thank you. Please stay on the line. Stay on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, I want Don Wan-No-Bi to know that he is free. He is welcome to come on ABS to give us his version of the story if he has any doubt that the narrative that we are getting here is inaccurate. We will give him the equal chance, equal opportunity to come and tell us his own narrative. Again, if he assumes that what is being narrated here is not correct. I am now being joined by the chairman of Mogamo at the time. Sorry, the chairman of Momo at the time, in the person of Jackson Omeka. I don't know whether I got it right, but Comrade Jackson, it's great to have you back here, sir. Good afternoon. From, is it New York or Philadelphia?
Peace back. Thank you, Secretary Chris.
Okay. So, you were the chairman of Momo when all of this transpired. Give us your version of the story if it is anything different from what we are hearing.
Yeah, thank you, Secretary Chris. Yeah, uh, I'm sitting here and listening to my brother. It's like looking back in anger. At the time when these things were happening, uh, it looks like I was the one that was wrong in everything that was happening, Momo. And little did I know at the time what the president was doing behind me. And you see, Secretary Chris, when you are truthful, when you are honest, it will take a long time, but the truth will always come out, and people will know the type of person that you are. You see, when these things happen, I could not, in any sense, figure out the intransigence that I was receiving from the Mogamo group. My brother is talking here, but finally we can talk together now. But at the time, when the president struck the deal with them, they became so intransigent. they were not cooperating with the county. We could not figure out what the problem was. We set committees to figure out how Mogamo can join us. Little did we know that the president went and asked them to train a martial force against the county, against his own guidelines and the guidelines of the 2020 draft. I mean, this is the scariest thing I can ever imagine in my life. And the thing is, I brought Dr. Sako to come to Momo to come and resolve the issue between Mogamo and the county. Little did I know that he was the brain behind the division. How do you carry yourself to come to talk to Momo people when you struck a deal with the Mogamo people and you are trying to solve a problem? You are part of the problem. It is not witchcraft in broad daylight. And to me, this is too cold-blooded for somebody to behave like this. But let me fast forward. When I got the gist of the deal, I called Don Wan-No-Bi and I put Fabian, the defense chair, on the line because I didn't want to speak to him alone. I asked him, how do you come to involve yourself in such a deal in Momo without letting the county know? And the Moabits told me that, well, yeah, it's my personal decision with the president. I said, so are you saying that the president brought you? He said, yes, it's a president and I deal with the president. I said, could you tell me more about what happened and the whole deal? He said it is private, he cannot reveal anything, he reports to the president. So I took upon myself to talk to the president and ask him, this thing that I'm hearing about Moamo and you, and that you are involved in it, how is it that we were struggling to work in Momo, but you were the one behind the scene destroying us? He said no. He saw a deal and he suggested to them. He never said after that he doesn't know what else happened. But at the time, I believed him because I had no reason to believe because there were no other story out there. Because my Mohammed's brothers were not even open to us. They didn't even tell us until when the deal went south. Then we start hearing from other sources. So that is what I'm saying here. Um, it hurts the mind that you defend somebody and you think that you guys are in a team and that person passes behind you and you understand that Bishop John, after the 2020 draft, there was this certification that was supposed to take place, just as my brother said. We had a certification in Momo without Mogamo because Mogamo was waived. They were not cooperating. They refused everything because I am told now that the president told them that if somebody confronts you, tell them that I authorize it. How do you authorize something that was illegal at that point? Just because you're the president and you think you can do it, you know? Um, and I think that even if he did it, that's fine. Have the courtesy to even inform the authority in place that there is something that is going on. That's how, if you are transparent, if you are truthful, that's how mature people, that's how educated, civilized people behave. When you strike a deal like that, you tell the authority there is something that we're doing and this is how it will be okay. But just because they knew what they were doing and they stayed quiet and trying to blindfold everybody, and he came to Momo and trying to make us look like we were the people that had problems. Meanwhile, he was part of a problem. So, Secretary Chris, it was a terrible thing. Uh, I'm just talking about it now. If I tell you what happened at the time, how we felt, and that's why most of the people in Momo are blaming somebody else for the problems in Momo without knowing that the problems in Momo emanate from the president and the Ringwa, who Aringwa has audio out there. She clearly stated that they are on their own because probably she knew she knew this deal. That's why she told us that we should stay away from them. So that's what happened, Chris.
Wait, tell us what happened after this deal failed. You went back to the president, and then what?
No, well, when the deal fell, I didn't even know, but I knew that He wasn't still there when those boys were picked up. But my only thing was I had to ask the president. I'm told that you were part of, you knew what you authorized them to use their money before every other person was allowed to use their money. He said, no, she told me that he did not. He said, I saw a deal, I suggested it to them. And then you still lied to me on another lie. You know, I mean, I have no reason to trust this guy. I don't have it. To be honest to you, I feel betrayed. I feel stabbed at the back. And everybody in Momo should have the same feeling.
Did you reach out? Tell me your experiences dealing with Don.
Oh, this guy is very evasive, very arrogant. Um, and if you talk to Fabian, he will confirm to you because I asked him direct questions. I was asking him, but the one thing he told me was that he was actually involved in a deal with the Mogamo because at the time I asked him, we did not know the deal had failed, but we knew that those boys either they were killed or they were in jail because some family members in Mogamo had actually organized funerals for two of the boys. That is how serious this was
Oh,
because they
so
thought
some
that this
boys
guy.
actually died in this deal?
No. They did not die, but because they were so quiet for so long, nobody knew what was going on. So some family members even thought that the boys have they were dead because there was rumor because nobody knew the truth. So that's why I confronted Obi Don Wan-No-Bi. Could you be open and tell me what really happened? But he told me that he can't tell me much. He can only talk to the president.
Yes, go on.
Yeah, so that was it. That was my dealing with him, and that was it.
All right. Comrades, we are also being joined by Dr. Fidelis Atienjo, who has until I think about 2 weeks ago been the chief advisor to the president, outgoing president Dr. Samuel Ekome Sako. Let me bring him in to tell us what, if at all, he knew anything about this deal, and let us also find out the experiences during dealing with the president as an advisor. Dr. Fidelis, it's a pleasure to have you, sir.
On board.
Your
It's a
microphone is
pleasure.
microphone.
Yes, it's on.
Okay,
Your
go ahead.
microphone, you're okay, Doc. You go on, please.
Okay. Secretary Chris, thank you for bringing me on board. It's a pleasure coming here to your platform, and you've been doing an exciting job. And well, I have been the chairman of the Presidential Advisory Council, which has been functioning since our appointment in 2020. So a lot of things have been happening. Yes, I had a relationship with the president because by virtue of my position as the chair.
So, before I take you into what the going ons at the advisory council, uh, you are also from Momo, and I know you have played a very integral role in saying that Momo prosecutes this war. Were you aware of this deal?
Well, as Momo, I would say partially. I only heard, but I don't know the details of the deal because, as a son of Momo who was in the government, I used to come back to Momo and talk with all the chairs of Momo except the chair of Moamo. But I had a very good relationship with the chairs of Momo. That is why I was able to resolve certain issues. This was mentioned to me, but it was mentioned in passing, and I did not get any details of it. But it came to me as an embarrassment when I saw her Moamo complaining about a ripoff that was initiated by Mr. President Sako.
Did you consult with the president, being that it had to do with your own county?
Well, there are a lot of issues that I discussed with the president about my county. To be sincere with you, that was not one of them because when I discussed with the chair, who was in a better position, who understood the whole deal. He had the upper hand to discuss with the president on that issue. But I did not. That was not one of the issues.
I think we are losing you. You are freezing up. Okay, it will get you now.
Yeah.
Yes, so you did not discuss that. You didn't take that to the president.
Yes, I
Doctor,
would say so. I did not do that because there were more other issues that I discovered. There were many issues about Momo. Yes.
right. Doctor, I think Ambazonians will be very, very inquisitive to hear from you because now everybody is saying who was advising the president throughout this time? Who was advising the president? How did we get here? How did we get into this mess? What will you say, being that you were the chief advisor, you were the chair of the Presidential Advisory Committee, the number one advisor to the president? How did we get here when you were right there?
Well, Secretary Chris, if I would like Ambazonians to know this, I was the chair by virtue of my position as the chair of the Presidential Advisory Council. I was part of the President Office Forum. I was also part of the cabinet and all the government fora or offices. So I would say I had a very big role to play in advising the president, but I feel so sad and so disappointed. And I also want to use this opportunity to apologize to Amazonians because we have a president who started so well, but I actually dealt with him on personal basis, and I found out that he is a president who doesn't listen to the people. He actually constituted the Presidential Advisory Council. When he was about to appoint us into that council, he called us individually and talked to us about this council, that this council had been abandoned for a while. And we actually were so energized and to get to work. So when we were constituted,
How many of you
so
were in the council?
okay, we were five. The president and the vice president were part of the Presidential Advisory Council. And in our meetings that we had, the president was not there, except for
How
two meetings that
often
we had.
did you meet?
We met we from the beginning we met twice bi-weekly, and then we changed since there was nothing, because we were so excited to be part of that council, thinking that there was work for us to do, and the president was going to call us at any time. We actually had an open schedule that any time that we can meet, even 10 times in a month. It doesn't matter if at all there's something that we need to talk to the president about. But we started up and saw that the cold water has been poured on us and nothing was going on there. So I also took it at my own personal level as the chair to discuss with the president on issues. And to be sincere with you, the president did not give any listening ear, especially when I started bringing up the fraudulent elections that took place in Gi, and also the elections that took place in Momo. The arrangement, I will not call it an election, that took place in Momo. It was so baffling the way the president took the case. He actually threw it off and told me that let the status quo remain because he doesn't want disorder to occur
Uh,
in Momo. Yes, go ahead.
you had you had a term of reference as the Presidential Advisory Committee. What will you say that you were responsible for? Was it just random advice, or the president was supposed to consult with your team whenever he had to make any policy decision?
Good. Thank you for using the word policy. According to the TOR, it was stipulated there that we stand as an advisory body that's going to be advising the president on issues that are policy issues, issues that are related to military issues. I mean, a lot of issues uh, that are concerned with the running of the affairs of the government. and that when the president goes out there to talk, he is talking because his advisors have given him the best advice to the best of their knowledge to the president to represent the Amazonians. And we even had an opportunity there. We also accepted that if the president failed out there, we would take the blame. But it's unfortunate that we cannot take the blame. We want to Pontius Pilate ourselves from the president's decision because we never contributed in any of the decisions.
Were you consulted?
We were never consulted. There was one incident that happened. This is not a consultation on a policy issue here. We were contacted to actually draft the Amazonia so that when the new regime came up in the United States, and the reason was because they wanted to make the new administration of the U.S. know our stance when it comes to Amazonia, because this stems from the fact that the U.S. was still preaching on how Cameroon could be won, and they did not identify our issue or our problem as a fight that we were trying to restore our independence. Not because they, from their statement, public statements, they were saying that we did not have independence at any time. So we had to actually write a paper, a memo, which the president and vice took to some associates he told us about, and then that, and to be sincere with you, it will be baffling for you to know that we actually requested for a response from the associates, and the president promised us on one Tuesday that he was going to make us know what the associates have done, and up to today as we speak, we've never heard from the president about that.
Associates of what?
Associates that are taking care of our case and
Oh, okay.
working with the State Department to actually lobby for our interests within the State Department, and eventual introduction of our problem to the presidency of the United States. That is what the associates was supposed to do.
Oh, Dr. Atienjo, people will hear you speaking now and say you are upset because the president left you out of his recent cabinet changes and took you out of the advisory committee. Uh, why should people not think that way, that you are just disgruntled?
Well, let me surprise Amazonians. I have text messages that I've had with the president on all the issues that, almost all the issues that we've had in this revolution. I took upon myself and I communicated with the president on these issues. One of those very important problems I confronted the president on was the issue of elections that took place in Momo and Gi. So this thing went to the to the ethics committee. But what happened was that when I saw the bad faith in which the president was handling issues, I started developing cold legs or cold feet when it comes to the president. I cannot imagine that the ethics committee sat down after listening to the cheers of Menemo and Jikwa, and they decided that they were going to rerun elections in Gi and Momo. And then the president took upon himself and called an emergency meeting and then declared to them that the intergovernmental oversight committee, was the overall body when it comes to decision making. The president, went and wrote this message and started spreading it out there. I cannot imagine how the president will condescend to that level of writing a memo on behalf of a committee and sharing it in public fora about the situation in Momo. So I saw that as a stab on my back. Then again, when the issue of Secretary Chris and Irene came up, it was not. I actually saw it, and I approached the president on a personal basis. I said, "Mr. President, this issue is about policies. This issue is how the government is run. This issue is not between Irene and Secretary Chris. It's an issue that has a lot of things that we need to fix within this government. Mr. President, please, could you do something about this situation? Try to address it." He actually listened to me, and we discussed for a while. And then he told me, well, an ultimatum was sent to me by Secretary Chris. I said, "Mr. President, I don't care whether an ultimatum was sent to you, but there are key issues that Secretary raised about the functioning of this government, which I think that you should put a close eye, turn a close eye to the ultimatum and address these issues for the benefit of Ambazonians. But the president told me that he was going to take it to the public, to address in the public, because Secretary Chris thinks that he is strong, but he was going to demolish him within in the public. And it was after that statement where he went to the draft of ABC, when he actually went there and addressed as a you Secretary Chris on a personal note. And I did not take that well. I was so furious about it because I actually advised the president that it was not good to take it to the public, and again, it could be resolved in the house, and that if he actually kept it cold for a little bit, he was going to actually see it going there, even to the level of the Restoration Council. But he did not listen to me, and he actually told me that he did not believe that it was going to go to that extent. I told him, Mr. President, as days are unfolding, things are going to happen differently in this revolution, and the Restoration Council is going to lay hands on this situation, or they are going to report to them, and you see the power tossing between you and the Restoration Council, the administrative and the Restoration Council. And he actually told me that it was not going to happen under his watch, and that he had the powers to actually dissolve whatever was coming when it comes to that case. So it was really very shameful, and I feel so disappointed that he did not listen to anything that was said. And then at some point, I think the president is not. I think what the president did was he had some people that he had already selected and put before him or around him to advise him. And to Ambazonians, I also want to tell you this: the issue of Secretary Chris and the issue of the leakage from the presidency, the audios of the vice president. These are issues that I brought up in the cabinet forum and all the government fora. So because I brought these issues, these are concerning issues. After the draft of FACO, we know that money was raised. I brought it up in the cabinet forum. I brought the issue of the leakage of VP. I brought the issue of Secretary Chris' case not handled, and also brought the issue of censorship that was going on within the cabinet. These are the reasons for which I was removed. I was brutally
Now, you
removed
did
from
all
this
of that
forum.
after I was gone, correct?
Yes, I did all of this after you were gone, and I was an advocate with other comrades like Under Secretary Ghana, as well as Bishop John and Iya Marietta. We were bringing all this up in the cabinet forum, and that is the reason why the president saw that the cabinet was no more conducive for him, and that is why he removed us from this cabinet forum. As we speak, I don't know, we've run out of count the number of cabinet fora that they are creating within the system. It is really baffling for ambassadors to know that I was not raising issues like personal issues, but I was raising issues that concern our people. Issues about the well-being of our people suffering in ground zero, ground one, and then we are here manipulating our people. We are here cutting deals. We are here throwing cold water on key issues that we as Ambazonians have to address. These are people who have put their lives on the line. We cannot compensate our brothers and sisters in the bushes enough for what they have done. Their life. We are here living in all air-conditioned offices, living in houses, well-to-do, big houses, eating and enjoying everything that we can possibly enjoy. But there are people on the ground who are not sure of a meal. But we are here confusing and talking about constitutional amendments and all sorts of things, trying to stay in power. The president failed us. We need to realize that and know that it is fine. He did his job. We can move on.
When you were taken out of the Presidential Advisory Committee, what did the rest of the members of the committee say?
Secretary Chris, I am still part of the Presidential Advisory Council.
Are you,
as the president has,
Advisory Council, but
yes,
are you in the forum?
Yes, as the president has begun.
Are you in the forum?
Yes, I am in the forum. I was removed from the President Office Forum, the Restricted Cabinet Forum, Extended Cabinet Forum. So these three fora, I was removed from this fora. Then they tried to remove me from Amber Peace Plan, but there was no way because Secretary Ghana was part of it and could not let me go. But let me tell you something. 2 weeks ago, we had a meeting with the president. He actually called members of my committee, of no, it's not my committee, of the Presidential Advisory Council, and wanted to have a talk with them. And in his usual way, he wanted to say all sort of derogatory things about me to them. And then when he introduced the idea, when the idea of us having a meeting as a council came up, he actually declared to the members that he doesn't want to see me in the meeting. He doesn't want me to be part of the meeting. But the members of the Presidential Advisory Council told him, Mr. President, this is our chairman, and there's no way you can come here and tell us about a meeting, and then we are not able to have him. Who is going to be the chair of the meeting? Who is going to coordinate the meeting? This is our chair. He has to be in. Actually logged into that meeting, and my entrance or my before he led me in, it was actually delayed for the reasons that there was a huge argument that was going on within the meeting for him to let me in, especially Comrade Dennis Atemken and Dr. Lambert. They all pushed the president, said you must allow Dr. Atenjo in. And when I got in, guess what? The first lie was that he had contacted me twice to call a meeting of the Presidential Advisory Council. I can't remember any time the president called me to do that. And then in that meeting too, he also lied that he did not appoint Miley and Barrister Fu as the acting chairs of the Federal Capital Territory, because he was doing that thinking that the other members were blind, but they had seen the document when he created the Federal Capital Territory. He mentioned that that was going to be under the stewardship of the IOC. So, and also mentioned those names in that document, but he blatantly refused in that meeting. So it was a meeting he concocted to let me out so that he could win the other members of the Presidential Advisory Council in his usual way, as he's been cutting people out and telling stories about the vice president and other members of cabinet who do not buy his divisive agenda.
You see, the unfortunate thing, comrade, is that many people will be sitting out there and saying to some of us who have been part of the system, why now? Why only now? Where were you when these things were happening? Of course, you guys who were with us in cabinet, you know the things I tried to do. Contrary to what many people think, I really tried to see that we could fix this in the House about 8 months ago before it went out. But people within the advisory commission, like you people were saying, where were you guys before things ran out of hand? What would you say?
Well, we have been there. I heard the other day a question was asked, why did we not resign? I think that resigning is running away from the problem. It's better for you to sit in there and see how you can resolve the problem. It's not like we were not talking to the president. And I can tell you, I can review if ambassadors want to know, I can show them my communication with the president on issues that have been taking place. We have been there for the people, but the president decided not to listen. Yes, he's somebody who doesn't listen. And I must tell you, in this meeting, one of the comrades of the Presidential Advisory Council actually told the president right into his face and said, Mr. President, we are here today because you do not listen. We are here today because you have not been proactive. We are here because you have failed us. The president said he expected us to identify issues within the government and advise him on. No, this gentleman said it is the other way around. When you go out there to make decisions, when issues are tabled to you and you have an issue with this, you have a problem with them, it is your place to call to someone else so that we can talk it and see how we can advise you on these issues. Yes, somebody will say the president has the right to take your advice or not. Yes, we understand that. But like what happened with the case of the issue that you, Secretary Chris, presented to the cabinet and to the president, I actually cautioned the president that if he doesn't take act fast, this thing was going to go to the level of the Restoration Council. And he boasted to me that he wasn't going to go. And even if he goes, he had a solution to it. So I don't know what solution he has to that problem at this moment.
Well, it's good you mentioned the Restoration Council. Let me bring in Comrade Jackson at this moment. Comrade
Yes.
Jackson, you have surely listened to the audios coming out of the meeting from yesterday. The meeting from yesterday that the outgoing president called, hoping that you could make his case to Amazonians. It was chaotic in there. It was chaotic in there. Now, the counties have written and withdrawn their allegiance to the president, and they have told their county constituents to do same by sending their funds to the county instead of to the treasury. What do you make of all of this, sir, as a former chairman of Momo?
Yes, Secretary Chris, I was listening to those audios with a lot of consternation. A lot of, I was bewildered. I was filled with embarrassment that how could I be a part of such a gang? And what struck me so particularly was the insult that was rained on the vice chair of the Restoration Council by Aringwa, and the president did not caution him. You cannot be head of an organization and you don't want to take responsibility for you, the people that are working for you, because he claims that people work for him. He said that vice president works for him. I don't know if he pays anybody, but this has been a voluntary job. But what Irene did to that man, I think, is something that will go in history. You can't go to a meeting like that and insult a statesman, an elderly man that is sacrificing. This man has families. He has his wife, he has his children and family members. Who wants to sit in a meeting like that and get insulted like the way Irene insulted that man? And the president sat there quietly and listened. Number one. Number two, I listened to how Jezebel, like Irene said, he's a mother that has children and is crying for the fighters on the ground. But this same woman has audios out there asking fighters that were caught in Nigeria to die. They should rot in jail. To me, I think his own children are more superior to other people's children. And the fighters that are on the ground are less important to her than her own children. To bring that analogy, and let me just leave Irene for now. Let's look at the constitution that the president was talking about. There is no way you can accept the Restoration Council elevating you from an acting to interim president and refuse the other components of that same arrangement. Dr. Sako thinks that he's just too intelligent that he needs to come and lecture people. But the more he talks, the more he exposes his weakness. Because, and then the last thing that stood out for me, I have this lady of the Restoration Council, Lobati, Man Lobati. Well, I have my differences with her. But this woman has some grain of integrity in her that I respect. And if she is furnished with the right information, she will make the right judgment. And she has been doing so. I listened to her when she was on ABC TV, and I listened to her yesterday, and she's saying the right thing, which people don't want to listen. And as such, they insulted her, because Sako has brought gang members like Eric Ate, who said they should impeach the chairman of the Restoration Council. When you sit and listen to this thing, you wonder if you were living in the same universe with people that Sako is working with. I mean, this is not what it was supposed to be. You cannot bring your own people, your own cabinet, hand-picked cabinet members, to go and insult people that are representative people from various RGS and counties. That is a sacrilege. I mean, it flies in the face of logic that you are trying to build something better from what people are running from. Secretary Chris, um, we will leave this for history books because sitting here, we can't analyze that nonsense. Thank you.
Dr. Fidelis, give us your take on what you heard coming out of that meeting yesterday.
I must confess to you, Secretary Chris, that I had a quarrel this morning with my wife because I woke up at 4 a.m. No, it was 2 a.m. and I was listening to those audios. I thought I didn't really want to listen to all of them, but the joy I derived from it, from listening to one of them, kept me going until I listened to everything that I had with me. I must tell you, Secretary Chris and Ambazonians, that I am really perturbed seeing an honorable member like Honorable Chris Ajua ridiculed by Aringwa. It was really, really a terrible misstep that the president allowed to take place. And it looks like it's the custom that has been going on because, Secretary Chris, you can bear with me in cabinet, you know how used to disrupt the cabinet, insult people, and he even humbled Professor Ayim to submission. That is why Professor Ayim is still confused up to today because of the insult he received from that lady. Yeah, so I really feel for him. The way he's behaving, I cannot judge him because he is suffering from depression based on what Irene did to him. So I saw what happened to Honorable Chris Ajua yesterday. I took myself back and said, what in the world? Why would reasonable people, educated Ambazonians, go and sit in a meeting and listen to this woman damage this man, tear this man apart? For a good reason, this guy, the honorable member, was right. He explained the situation. Let me leave it at that. Going to the issue of Eric Ate addressing and putting Dr. Lombardi on the spot. Dr. Lombardi gave him an answer which I was very happy. She actually told Eric, you know what? I am not going to say yes or no to you. I need to explain things. And one thing I respect her for is her consistency. She has been consistent from day one, explaining the position of the Restoration Council about the decision of the two-year term that was given to the president. And our constitution, according to the terms of reference of the Restoration Council, they can sit and take decisions on issues that arise. If
But
you have done
comrade, that
experiments,
is something that every member of the ROC has missed out on. I have not seen a single one of them that who explains that, listen, per our terms of office, we have the right to do what we did, impeaching Sisiko and bringing in Sako and giving him a two tenure. None of them has explained that because it appears they don't know where that is found in their terms of reference and in the Constitution.
yeah, as I was saying, Secretary Chris, I've done experiments. I'm a scientist in my life. I've been a scientist. I'm a clinical person. I'm also a scientist. So I've done experiments. There are some experiments called real-time experiment. It means you are conducting an experiment and seeing the changes that are occurring as time changes. So we are in a revolution that is changing, that is dynamic. The Restoration Council has been empowered to work according to these changes. Like the issue of installing the president, impeaching Ayok, Sesiko Ayok, it was not in the constitution. Then Dr. Sako was made acting president. It was not in the constitution. And then he was made a president of Ambazonia. That was not in the constitution. These people did it. The Restoration Council acted within their powers to actually put the president there and install him and give him the 2 year term of office. I heard also about the blame, how the president, in his usual logic, came and was bringing logic about how he sees now he is the victim in a situation. How can he say that he was a victim? The president, after you took hold on office, which you are lying to people that you did not accept, that they just came in, took it and brought it on that day and they were reading it to you and they mentioned about the 2 years term and it was like a surprise. It did not surprise you because I was there. Secretary Chris, I was part of that install on the day of oath taking. I was there. Reverend Asong was there with other, even Honorable Chris Ajua was there. This was mentioned. And then when the president brings logic like, oh, they should have called me to do this, they should have done their work, they should have. The Restoration Council did their work to sit down in a meeting. It was not in the night as Honorable Chris Ajua said, but it was a meeting that it was an extensive meeting, and they took that decision to give the president a 2-year term. So for the president to say that he is a victim here, he kept quiet about the whole thing with the intention that they are going to overlook it, and then he will keep on running Amazonians. And that is why he quickly went now and called his errand boys, those in the Constitutional Council, to write a letter extending the president's mandate or keeping him there till they get to Boya. That was a constitutional abortion, as I would say that, because what these lawyers were trying to do was, I mean, it's something that they need to be called to question, because they tried to stand in the way of the law in order to protect an individual they are worshipping. And I want to say this to Amazonians. We are in this revolution not because of Secretary Chris. We are in this revolution not because of President Sako. We are not in this revolution because of any individual. We are here because this revolution belongs to us. This is a us revolution, not an I revolution. Nobody has the right to stand there and declare that he is going to be president for Amazonians for until we get to Boya. When are we going to Boya? Do they know when we are going to Boya? I don't know. Maybe you know. So
Well,
the meeting of yesterday was a chaos. And that can show to Amazonians, if they listen to these audios, they will show the determination, the commitment that this government, this corrupt government, has put in place to stay in power. That is not the kind of Amazonia we want to build. We want to be
thank you. The audios are out there. Ambazonians will listen to it. Before
Secretary
I get
Chris.
to Comrade Jackson, I know you want to speak. Hold on there. I just like the public to know I will be opening the phone lines. Right after Comrade Jackson, I will start taking your calls. Comrade Jackson, go on, please. Give us your take on this.
Yes, yes. So there is something that we are missing out here. That the in a bid to explain himself yesterday, playing the victim card, he said he's not supposed to be blamed for the pronouncement that were made by the Restoration Council chair. But now there are two things. Either way, it doesn't look good for him. If you are head you're the head of the executive, there is a constitutional crisis that we have. They have made you the president. For 2 years, you heard the chairman of the Restoration Council say you have a 2-year mandate, and you know that it is not in the constitution. You went to bed. It was 6 a.m., you did not even get up. 1 p.m., you are still sleeping. Until somebody got you up, okay, Mr. President, it's daylight, get up. You suddenly say, oh no, this is not my problem. Somebody made me to sleep to this time. No, the president, just as you start in your monologue, could have started the process of elections in Amazonia. His failure not to have put in place a structure for election, either he was being a con man because he wanted to exploit the situation so that, like today, he will come out and say, oh, it's not my fault. Because if you are the president, then you didn't put those things in place, then it's a failure as a president. You cannot have it both ways. Just as you said, the Restoration Council could have done something before now. And the president himself could have done something before now. Instead, to come and sit and tell Amazonia that, well, this thing just happened at the end of the swearing in. No, no, we don't take that for an excuse for you being there. And by the way, who in what part of our constitution, just as Dr. Fidelis said, does it give the mandate for the Restoration Council to do what they did for him? It's because we are in a changing revolution. And the president, You see all this election thing, when the president with his errand boy, Dr. Anderson, did the thing they did for us in Momo, we told him that this mistake you are doing is going to get to your doorstep. Dr. Fidelis, you are my witness. He did not listen. If it is okay for him to make elections elsewhere in Ambazonia, why can't we make elections at the head of the presidency? You know, he thinks that elections are good for some other persons, but elections are not good for him. We are still going to figure out what school of thought he's drawing those analogies from. I would have thought that the president would say that, okay, we messed up. Let us sit together and look and get into and provide a constitutional way to get through this election. We messed up, all of us. But you have not heard him say that. All he comes is to come and bring back some logic, outdated logic that doesn't even stand the test of time to justify why he should be sitting there. Nobody says he should go away. He has the right to run. He has the right to run. But when you start elections at the county and LGAs, it will gradually get to you at the presidency. And that's where we are. Mr. President, be a man and fix things and lead the revolution, because all of us have been people that have been supporting the president, because it's always good to support the right thing. But when you see the bad thing, say it. I'm not going to sit here and continue to say that I support somebody that is doing something that is not good. That's surrogacy. But you should be able to stand up, just like what the vice president did, to stand up when you know that things are not going right. Thank you. Secretary Chris, are you still there?
Okay, thank you. The last question before I open the phone lines, Dr. Atienjo. Tell me, where are we heading to now? The Restoration Council, I understand, is meeting tomorrow. Ambazonians want to see this regime over. What happens after tomorrow?
Well, I must tell you this, Secretary Chris. The chairs, I dove my heart to the chairs of the county. They actually wrote a very, very important letter, which is out there. Everyone has seen that letter, and it sets the pace on how this revolution is going to run. And they've given the Restoration Council an opportunity to redeem themselves. Yeah, they need to redeem themselves from the slowness that everyone is decrying out there about their activities. I can remember we in the APP meeting last week, we took a very, very powerful move in which a motion for impeachment was actually submitted to the Restoration Council. May I take this opportunity to actually talk to our Restoration Council members? You have been in this revolution, and you don't want Ambazonians to hold you to book or hold you for the reason that we failed. It is time for you to act. It is time for you to take the right decision and see how you can redeem yourself from the chaos that has been created by the administrative branch of this government. If you do not, the Ambazonian people are going to speak, and you will hear from us, the Ambazonian people. That is the way forward. We cannot afford to let this revolution die.
All right,
Because
thank
of some
you, thank
gullible
you.
members.
Let's get to the phones and get to the first caller. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. Hi, Secretary Chris. Sebastian calling from Maryland.
Okay.
I want to express a word of thank you to my very good friend, Dr. Atianjo, who is one of your panelists today. Again, I'm thanking my able brother too, Chairman Jackson. I mean, you guys are doing a tremendous job. Secretary Chris, again, you are doing a wonderful job. I mean, it's not all about power as it is going on now. It is about saving our people, defending homeland. And like one of the panelists said, I don't know if that was Dr. Atianjo or Chairman Jackson. It is not about defending a particular individual. It is about ground zero. I mean, we all know the role I had in this struggle and the way things are going. If I had a recommendation to give the Restoration Council, I would tell the Restoration Council, dissolve this IG and call for the sixth conclave. That is all. That is what I can tell the Restoration Council.
Wait, that is exactly what I suggested in the famous coup memo.
Dissolve this IG and or you reset the IG. You don't know how many people have called me both on zero here in everywhere in St. Sebastian. What's going on? We prefer Sako'S. I will tell you this in front of Ambazonians. A lot of people have told me they prefer Sako'S. I have been out there. People say, "Oh, you'll be working with Sako'S. You've worked with Ayaba. You work with this." I don't care. I am Ambazonian. I will talk to anybody. I will talk to anybody I choose to. I will go to any TV I choose to. This struggle is not going to cut my relationship with anybody. It's not going to cut my relationship with. As a matter of fact, I went to a donor who gave $1,000 for me to send to our brothers in jail, which I did with all my mind. I will send the money. I will do anything to whoever needs it. Again, the panelists, thank you very much. They're brilliant and exposing everything and telling the bitter truth that I know. I will come to APS when I'll be ready. Thank you, Secretary Chris. Again, the panelists, thanks.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you. Sisiko may be a good guy, ladies and gentlemen, but I think we said it before, we will not allow anybody who doesn't have his or her full freedoms leading a struggle, a liberation struggle. So I think we should forget about that. We have, millions of us outside. Why should we go to prison to pick a leader? But that doesn't mean we sever relationships with him. I think that's what he's referring to. All right, let me get to the next caller. Hello.
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 Yes, good evening, Secretary Chris. This is Ephraim calling from San Antonio. Greetings to your panel there. I would like to tell Ambazonians out there, especially those of them at home, that these two gentlemen are some of the finest gentlemen we have in our country, and I respect their integrity.
That is excluding me.
Well, you are. There's nothing to compare to you. Let me put it that way.
that is flattering now.
Oh, yeah, okay. No. You are wonderful. You are wonderful. You are taking the bull by the horns, and I would say you're not the only. And so, and I personally know these two gentlemen that you have there. I know them. So, yes. Also, I share the same pain that the two of them have shared. Have expressed there, listening to this woman. I know she doesn't want to be called woman. Let us say strong woman. But listening to Aringwa berate, yell, shout at honorable members in a meeting, and well, the president, as usual, condones all that, so long as Aringwa. And I heard her say that it was something like the blood of Ambazonians that are dying at home is going to go after some people. And I would tell her that blood is going to leak on you through your roof before it goes to any person else, because we have none of your activities. I know. Not too long ago, a few years ago, we had a first lady in the United States of America, Mrs. Obama, who said, when they go low, we go high. But I think they have been going high and high and high for this woman, and she's not listening. So probably it's time to get into the mud with her. It is time to get into the mud with her. All all they do is sit around and call generals, field marshals, and foot soldiers at home and call on them to send motions of support. But when it comes to giving them the support, look at what's happening in our counties, Gokunja / Bui. Look at what's happening in Bali. Look at what, you name it. The president just lazy. All he wants to sit there and do is, sit in his chair, swing from side to side like the person can say you, and then you disappear from the face of the earth. This is unacceptable. And we've had him for 2 years. There are always a lot of silly arguments around as to why we should continue to have him. The Constitution said it. It was said at the Registration Council, at least. And it is time for him to go.
All right.
This is my view.
Thank you. That is your view. Let's hear what the RC says. Thank you for the call.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see who is next here. Hello.
Hello, Secretary.
Hello, sir. May I know where you are calling from, please?
This is Pius. I'm calling from New York City.
Okay.
Yeah. Secretary Chris, I want to appreciate you for having this ABS TV. Because you're making us understand so many things that we didn't know at first. Yeah. So, Secretary Chris, when we started with the struggle, sometime back in 2016, you were the one giving us information, right? You
Correct.
remember?
Yes.
Those of us right here, those of us in Ground Zero, your word was kind of final, and during ghost towns, when ghost towns were coming up, when events were coming up, I mean, if Secretary Chris didn't pronounce it, everybody knows it's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, Secretary Chris, we appreciate you right here, and we think you're coming up with a new Amazonia, and that's what the people want right now. You know what I mean? I'm not saying because you fall out with Sako or the IG or whatsoever, but I mean, you've been of great help to us.
Thank you.
Some of us are right here. We can go back home, and we need voices like yours. I mean, to have the cold heart to see how we can move forward with the struggle. You know what I mean? Because right now we have a community of Amazonians here in Queens, New York, and we were solidly behind the IG, and out of a sudden, there's the division right now between the IG. We don't know where to belong right now.
Comrade, I will say to you, comrade, I will say to you what any person else is doing out there, out of this IG, is illegal, is not legitimate. The IG hasn't gone anywhere. I said from day number one, we will not see this IG split. We will fight anybody who tries to split the IG as Dr. Sako is now trying to do. So please, you and your group, do not say you don't know where to belong. The IG is still here. All we need to do is put our heads together, bring in a more trustworthy, reliable leadership. We all have to do that.
Let me say this.
Thank you. Thank you for the call.
Okay, Secretary, one more thing before you go to the live.
All right, quickly, please, quickly.
Yeah.
Can you lower the noise in your background, please? A lot of noise in the background.
Okay. Yeah, I think you can get me right
Good,
now.
that is good.
Okay. Secretary Chris, one more thing right now. If we could have a channel,
Yes.
maybe privately or maybe so we know we stay behind the IG as you said, but right now some of us are kind of we're scared because we don't know where our resources are going to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, if you can come up with something as soon as possible, because we believe in you, Secretary Chris. You were our voice since when this struggle started. So we still believe in you. So right now,
Am I not compromised with our public?
no, it's not gonna happen. That's over your dead body, and that's over our dead body, and we know it. If you were to be compromised, you would have done that a long time ago. You know what I mean? So right now, I mean, if you could come up with something as soon as possible, so that we need the liberation of homeland as soon as possible.
Comrade,
We don't want like
yeah. Comrade, I can assure you APP is meeting on Thursday. We want everybody, even from ground zero, to be there. How we move on will not be the decision of one person. We will all put our heads together and figure out how to move on. Thank you for the call.
Okay, Secretary, you guys should always know that the people, the Southern Cameroon community in Queens, New York, are highly behind you.
All right, thank you. God bless.
In addition to that, Secretary Chris, to this young man, I really appreciate your concern and that you have a community in Queens. You have to understand that we already have a structure in this revolution. The Amber Peace Plan, we had LGAs, we have counties. So go to your LGA, make your contributions to your LGA. That is where you contribute your money and you are there to take a decision on how that money is spent. Go to your county, participate in your county. Don't send any money to the central government because there are trust issues in this situation. But your LGA, you will be there to actually be part of how the decisions taken about your money. Thank you.
All right, that is very, very correct. Again, our chairs, the county chairs, have put the message out. Please do not wander. Do not even contemplate whether to support the struggle. Please, the counties are there. They are doing a terrific job. Please let your money get into the hands of the county. All right, let's get to the next caller. Hello. Hello.
Good afternoon, Secretary Chris.
Good afternoon, sir. May I know where you are calling in from, please?
Yes, this is Fidelis calling from Canada.
All right, and what is your contribution?
Yes, before I go on to my contribution, I would like to first of all thank you and to wish you God's blessings and protection. And I would like to say a word of thank you to your panelists for their frankness. All right, so I listened to the audios of the meeting of yesterday and I was left, I couldn't find a way to wrap my head around it. A question was asked to Dr. Sako concerning the Constitution, whether if it was good during swearing him into office, why is it not good making an election? And his response was just so terrible. I wish he had not even responded. He went round and round in a manipulative, calculated attempt to lay blames onto the swearing-in process by claiming the swearing-in process was never in the Constitution. That what was actually read to the hall, that what was read to that hall was never in the Constitution. Then the question is, common sense would dictate that if he claims what was actually read, that was not the swearing-in speech, therefore he was never ever sworn in and his term of office was an illegality. So that, in conclusion, that swearing-in was null and void ab initio at the very beginning. So therefore, he is not the president of Ambazonia. And if he is not the president of Ambazonia, then we need to put in a legitimate president. Because you see, when you try to manipulate the people, you end up shooting yourself on the leg. And now, I also listened to one other audio, the president saying that if someone hijack your platform, just create another one. That is the very definition of divisiveness. How can a leader be that divisive and think he can steer the nation Amazonia forward? That is manipulation to the highest extreme that you can ever think of. And he was advising and opting to create another forum for that very person who complained of I think it was the ABC forum or something like that. Now the question is, how can Ambazonia trust you as a leader to lead them if you have that kind of attitude? I think we are where we are today because the president has proven beyond all reasonable doubt that he's incapable. He's failed Ambazonia. A leader is a problem solver.
You solve the problems as they come. You anticipate future problems and you prepare for them and you solve them. You don't sit taking all the time a do-nothing option.
All right.
Because a do-nothing option is disastrous. And that is the disaster that we are in today. So let the president just simply admit he's been a failure, a total failure. And I want to believe that all what we saw prior to this moment, our boys on the ground, the actions, the activities on the ground were never ever coordinated by President Sako, the former President Sako, to say. They happened just by chance, and he is lucky that he was there on seat. However, on easy ways lies the head that wears the crown. Let's give him this. For the benefit of doubt, we attribute this success to him, but all the other failures as well, he should assume them.
All right. Thank you.
It is high time we set the pace, because to me, he's just proven his attempt to manipulate is exposing him the more and proving that he's not fit to be the leader Ambazonia so desire.
All right.
At this moment.
Thank you.
Need an election.
Thank you. Let's get to the orders, please. Thank you for the call. All right. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Chris. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. This is Germany, correct?
Yeah, this is Bakwa from Berlin.
All right. What is your contribution, sir? 1 minute so we can get to a number of callers before we call it a day.
So my contribution in this issue is just that I greet all the panelists you have there with yourself. And my contribution here is that we cannot longer keep Sako as our president. Meanwhile, in Boya, since we started in 2017, in Boya, Sako doesn't have any fighters on the ground, and he called himself our president. No one will more accept Sako to be our president. He cannot build up a group. He cannot even build any group in Boya, where he came from. And then you want to build groups in Muhamo and this. I'm very sorry to say this. Please, any president who will not be able to handle our fighters on ground zero should be impeached immediately. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You have a great night.
Chris, can I say something here?
All right. Okay. Let's see who else is on the line. Hello.
Yes, this is JB calling from Ground Zero.
JB calling from Ground Zero. Where on Ground Zero, sir?
In Manu State.
Okay, and what is your contribution?
Yes, my contribution is that the people of Ambazonia should notice that Sako, Chris Anu, Irene Gua have failed them. And if you go to the respective government in which they are staying, they will see that the way the laws have been operated in those countries, if you want to apply just a quarter or 0.1% of what those countries are practicing, they are not fit to go close to anywhere there is power. So I am calling on the people who believe in the IG to shun Chris Anu, Irene Gua, especially Sako, and look for a vibrant person in the youth community or anywhere, a woman or anywhere, and put to lead that IG. Because these people I have named are the main reason why we are where we are today. My main question to Chris Anu, after taking down Sako, what is your end game? Do you want to become the next Sako?
Yes, I like to take over. How about that?
Yeah. So you people should try and get people that are not related to anything Chris Anu, Irene Gua, Fu Jonso, and Sleepy Kumeta, and you bring in real people to lead the IG. God bless you people. Goodbye.
Thank you. Interesting opinion. All right, that's your opinion there. Thank you. Let's get to the next caller here. Hello.
Hello, Secretary Chris. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Calling from Germany?
Yes, I'm calling from Germany. Let me be very fast because I know there are many callers. I want to first of all thank all of you, the panelists, and you in particular. There's a point I want to make here. I see some people who have been appointed and they claim to understand the constitution so well, but that same constitution states that they have to be vetted. But yet they go around assuming position whereas they have not been vetted. So I don't know how constitutional they are there. That's one point. Then I want to tell Ambazonian that what is happening right now in the struggle is a blessing to us. That's how I look at it. It's a blessing.
That's the way I look at it also.
Yes, had it been that we took all these criminals, Wan-No-Bi and all the rest, who brought them in Ambazonia and gave them position in the government, and all the military might, all the power we would have given them, it means Pobia would have been better than them. So it is a blessing that it is happening now that we are on our way. So that we'll fix things well before we move on. So that's why I say it is a blessing. Now I want to thank the county chairs for the decision they took, and let them stand with this decision and let them keep promoting it and sensitizing the Ambazonian the right thing to do. That is to join their LGA, their county, do their contribution, they follow up the contribution, see how the money is being used, because then there is more transparency at that level. They do it weekly. Also in my own county, we do that often. Now, my other point is that President Sako has been elected 2 times. The first time he was elected as acting president, and the second time as the president of the interim government. So if that constitution elected him twice, why can't that constitution elect him for the 3rd time? So what is the issue there?
Yeah.
So Ambassador should know all of these things. Maybe some people don't know, but we are very aware he has been elected twice before. So this was just the 3rd election he was to go in, and he knows he has become very unpopular because of the unscrupulous attitude or the very poor behavior towards the Amazonian. He knows he won't be elected. Probably, I'm not God. That's just my own understanding. Right. And maybe my last point here is that I think when Dr. Sako started, he was taken to advice, and because of those good advice he was listening, he was able to govern us well. But immediately he thought he could no longer take advice from those advisors, he started doing his thing now with his own intelligence, which is limited. So I qualify him for me as an incompetent person. He's incompetent. That is why we are suffering this situation. And my last point, not the least, is very, very important even. We need the contacts of our Restoration Council member, if not their numbers, but you people should provide us with their email address so that we can write to them. We know their telephone number is too private. You can give us their email address so that we can write them directly. They're our Restoration Council member. We need to have contact to them so that we can float their email and tell them what we think about this issue, because the future of Ambassador is now in their hand, and we want them to use their integrity, the godly judgment, to make sure that they fix this struggle for us.
All right.
Thank you all. God bless you.
Secretary Chris.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. God bless. I hope they hear. I hope that our Restoration Council members are hearing.
Secretary Chris. Secretary Chris.
All right. Let's see. No, lots of people trying to call, but they can't get through.
I think
Keep on calling. You may be lucky to get through. You may be lucky to get through. Keep on calling, please. Okay. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Please turn down the volume of your set. Turn down the volume of your set and focus on the phone.
I've done that.
This is Honorable Wanja.
Exactly. This is Wanja. Greetings to all the panels.
The former chair, the former vice chair of the Restoration Council.
Exactly.
All right, please.
Yes. Let me greet first of all those in your panel and those Amazonian people watching. Everything you people are talking about the Constitution, that's only the point I want to make for the people for today. Is what Sako is doing, he wants to weaver what brought him in. We are the people who brought him in with the Constitution. That Constitution for the Federal Republic of Amazonia is interim Constitution. It's not the final Constitution. So we, the people of from the Restoration Council have the rights, have the authority to take decision, to make decision at any time necessary. If this is accepted or voted by the Restoration Council with the highest majority, we go for it. President Sako was elected by the Restoration Council member. We had 92% votes. After that, we came with a solution because it wasn't in the constitution, the interim constitution. We came with a document. We decided that we have to choose a term of office for him, which was 2 years mandate. We voted for it. It was 90% again. It's not something we did not deliberate on it. We deliberated in the restoration. I hope those who were there are listening to me because I was a vice chairman. I know about it. I was there. I was present. So we accepted 2 years mandate. I personally called Dr. Sako that evening, that morning, and told him that this is what we have decided, which was not even my position to do that. We have decided to give you 2 years mandate. And that 2 years mandate was just a trial time. It wasn't a full president elected. It was a trial time. If he does good, because of what Sezeko did to us, we have to put it as a trial time for him. So we gave him 2 years. If he does something which is out of the constitution which we have decided to put him, we are not going to elect him again. We are going to elect a new president. That document was written, myself, Elvis Kometa, Chris Chopper, and Willie, Madam Dr. Willie Velati. So
Okay, comrade, we have heard those details. I think, yes.
So what they are saying, what the president is saying is just want to manipulate Ambazonians. I'm talking as somebody who was there. I was part of it.
All right.
So people should not be afraid. If he doesn't come for election, he has to go out. It means he wants to dupe the people of Southern Cameroon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Let me go back to the panel. I think they got something to say. Please,
yes.
Go on. I don't know, Comrade
Yes.
Jackson, you got something to say?
Yes. Yes, thank you. And I thank all the callers. Some of them have made very educative suggestions and analysis here. But I will first of all thank all the county chairs. It's an honorable house where I used to be. And all the county chairs, please, we understand the pressure that is you guys are having. I know you'll be receiving so many calls from the president and his cabal. But please just stay and do the right thing for your people, especially the chair of chairs. I know that you are in a very difficult situation. That is the situation some of us were in at the time we decided to talk to Seko back in the days, and they thought that we were doing the wrong thing, but it ended up we're doing the right thing. So please, you guys should stay and maintain the job you guys are doing, and you're doing a fantastic job. You see, there is one thing that somebody made mention here, Chris. Even everything that was said on the day of inauguration was not in the Constitution. The one thing that Dr. Sako is very strong at, people look at him as a man of God. People look at him that he's docile. Not docile is negative, but he's gentle. He's soft-spoken. Those are the attributes that won the heart of so many people. But if you hold the Bible in your hands and make a promise, and at the end of the day, you are trying to argue that promise that you make holding a Bible, you don't even have the decency to respect that institution of that the Bible represents, which you are part of. That is what defeats the imagination of a normal human being. You can do that. Another point, somebody talk about vetting of cabinet members. Yes, there are people that have been working in the interim government that were not vetted by the, or were vetted, and some were even rejected, but Sako continued to keep them. He never took them off. Now, let's go to the issue of Irene. When Irene caused so much trouble in Momo, I have the letter with me. I wrote a long letter to the president. And my complaint was that she was head of the resource mobilization. Now you have appointed her under secretary at the treasury. Number one, when did you do the vetting? Because nobody called me. Because I know that several people called me for the vetting, but we never got it. Number two, how do you promote somebody that is so divisive at the level of the county? As we speak, he never responded to my letters. So that is one thing with him, that he would choose to go around problems instead of facing problems. If you're a leader, you are there to solve problems. So I brought this issue to highlight, when you guys brought the issue in that level of the cabinet, these are issues that should have been solved, faced head on. But you choose to go around creating more fora, I mean to say. And that's why we are where we are today.
All right, thank you. Let's get back to the phones and give opportunity for Ambazonian to air their minds. Hello.
Hello, Secretary Chris. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ground Zero, Bamenda, Mezam
Bamenda,
County.
Mezam County. Okay, go ahead, please. 1 minute.
Thank you. I'm glad that my call has finally reached you today.
All right.
Yeah, I want to first salute your panelists. I want to thank God for their frankness.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Go on.
Yeah, I want to thank God for their frankness. They are outspoken, like what you're doing. And that is exactly the kind of people we want in this revolution. I want to begin by saying that the people we've elected to rule us as president, God brought them in so that we can actually see their capability. God has actually exposed Sako right now, and that is how God does things. If he came to Cameroon or to Amazonia after the independence and take office, I want to think that it would have been a mess. But because God works in a way nobody understands, that is why God is exposing him right now, even in the midst of the revolution, so that the Amazonians should also know the kind of people that can be leaders, even when the country is polarized. We need people who are like you, Chris Arnold. We need people who are straightforward. We need people who can pave the way for the Amazonians so that they can lead. Because what we see now going on in the IG is not different from what is going on in La Republic. So, being in a relationship for 60 years and counting is enough to corrupt the entire country or the citizens. And so that is exactly where this problem is coming. Sako and his cabal is suffering from this kind of disease.
All right.
But now I want to think that people like you are the one to to hate this revolution because we are building a country that is void of corruption. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Round up, please, so we can get to other callers.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we are struggling to build a country whereby corruption will not be what we are hearing now.
Right.
We are struggling to build a country whereby there will be no tribalistic tendency. Thank you. I think let me cut it short here so that
all right.
Get other people.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the contribution. Okay, I wish I could take more calls. Ground Zero is just beginning to call. Hello. Hello. Okay, that caller dropped. Let's see who next is trying to call. Hello.
Hello, Secretary Chris. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Cyprus.
Okay, you're always lucky to go through. All right, quickly, sir. Quickly, let's see if we can get to Ground Zero.
Okay, I want to thank you and your panelists this evening for at least digging the wickedness of Sako and his gang. Secretary Chris, there is something which I have seen with this interim government of a thing. Interim government has created a lot of problems to Amazonia because now if we look at that of Sako, it's like we are going, we have about 3 factions of interim government, of which it will not look good to Amazonia. The one of Sisiku and the one that Sako is automatically trying to form already, which we will not give him room for that.
Yes.
But when you look at the name, that IG now has become Irene Game. The I stands for Irene and the G stands for game. Because the whole thing is Irene was game and Sako, which it is not healthy to Amazonia. So what I'm trying to suggest is that interim government have just been wiped out. We go in for that is they can we need a government, no doubt, that can handle things in order to coordinate with Ground Zero. But something like the way Ground Zero is trying to do, they are trying to unite everybody. So why can't we just have a unitary government?
All right. All right. All right. Thank you. Those are things we will look into once we get our house in order. I don't think is the appropriate thing to start doing now, looking for that, but that should be the next step. Thank you for the call, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Where you calling from, sir?
Yes, I'm calling from Malta.
Malta. Okay. You have 1 minute.
Yes.
Go on.
Yes, thanks very much. I greet all the panels you have on board. I greet you yourself. Thank Kuna for a great job. This is my own appeal. Sako has committed treason. People who are talking about election, Sako is not supposed to be go for any election. We already passed that stage of election. Sako is supposed to be impeached and removed to power. That he has disgraced us so much so that we don't even need him to smell that position of even going for election. He needs to be impeached immediately. And this is my plea to the Restoration Council. We don't have time. La Republique is killing us on the ground. People are dying. So we need to impeach Sako and look for the way forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I hope they are hearing you and take that up. All right. Let's see who else is here. I wish we have more of Ground Zero, but let's see. Hello.
Hello, Secretary Chris.
Yes, sir. Where are you calling from?
Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Wonderful. What is your contribution, sir?
My contribution is that everybody should fall back to their LGAs, and while we're falling back to our LGAs, we're not counting on those who've left, like the Ayabas, the other groups, all the age people, like, who just be taking advice from them. What we want to see now is a new president and a young president, somebody who is 30 of age, maximum 45, to lead the struggle. Like, because we're fed up with
am I too old for it? You know, I'm the head of the coup plotters, right?
Yep, Secretary Chris. People like you and your two panelists are people we respect, you know.
Oh, okay. I'm included. All right.
We like the advice you guys are giving and the awareness and the sensitivity you guys are putting on the table is something which is really important. But right now, from the stand of things, we want a young person, a vibrant person, you know, to lead this struggle. Those are my contributions. Like, people should fall back to their LGLs, make their normal contributions, you know, and look for a young, vibrant president to lead this struggle.
All right.
We thank you for exposing everything.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for the call. Okay. Let's get to London. Hello.
Hello, Secretary Chris.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. This is Ambi from London.
Okay. And what is the contribution?
Yes, I've got some series of questions to ask.
Yes, sir.
Because now with this revolution, everybody is hitting the heads left and right. And I've got this series of questions to ask you and others. Sako has really disgraced us. Yes, we are aware. You as Chris Anu, let's start from you.
Okay.
How long do you think you are going to be in that position? How long do you want to rule that position?
Which position?
Position as a communication. Are you training others? Are you training others to whom when you
I mean, you should know I have been replaced, right?
No. It's not about replacing you. Are you helping others? Are you teaching others, the younger ones, that can assist you when you are not there?
Okay. Second question.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and the second question is, why are all these things about Sako did not start now? Why are they coming out just now? Why are they coming? They have been happening long time ago. It's not something that just started just now.
Well, but you heard me say that when you are working in a team and things like this happen, you have to first of all try to resolve it as a team from within, isn't it?
Okay.
Right. So that's exactly what happened. You have been hearing of a coup d'etat memo that I wrote. They call it coup d'etat memo, but it was essentially trying to address this situation to prevent it getting where it is today. Unfortunately, it was treated the same way La République du Cameroon treats grievances from the southern Cameroons.
Thank you so much.
Okay, your third question.
Thank you so much for that. I just want to thank you for coming out to stand out of the dubious queue. But I just pray that you keep your eyes open and you keep being guided and you keep being representing your people in the right way, because we are in a position where some of us cannot even go home.
Yeah.
And some people are taking this as
Yeah.
People are dying. People cannot even go home. Some of us have lost families, and we cannot even go to lay our families to rest. Nothing is happening, and people are just joking with people's lives, just like that.
All right. Thank you, comrade. Thank you for the call. Remain safe out there, sir.
Thank you so much, and courage, and God bless you. And try to be straight
All right.
forward, because every single fighter or every single person in this revolution is being guided by God, because it's an ordained revolution.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I will take two more calls, ladies and gentlemen. I can't take every call. I will take two more, and we'll call it a day. This is Gabon, I guess. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Good evening, Uncle Man.
Please.
Yes, I'm getting a call from Gabon.
All right. Go on, please.
Yes, my contribution, which are my contribution, which I want you to talk, I say I want my contribution, I want you to get for Dr. Sako'S, the outgoing president.
Okay.
I just want to make me say, yes, so make you accept, say, this, so time don't pass. Yes, say, now, so you don't fall, play with people, not be give you good advice, he be take the wrong advice, he be the only accept, now, only for people, they only say yes, they don't give you bad advice. Maybe you imagine, say, that money, we take I go invest for Bitcoin, if you go for ground one, even like less than 10 hectare farm. They plan les corn, land beans, for that refugee for they don't look as if we do more better life for family for that side, if we help the people the way they less privileged. And two, if we help also, even though if we come out, but a good way we do one for the Amazonia, people will be less privileged for ground zero. If we be more helpful, it will be helpful with careers. So maybe you accept it so if solve solution. And for this our Africa today, we need a president where you be able to bring solution to the problem with less privilege. And just a small contribution around here.
Thank you.
Accept them. See this so you don't pass it, don't learn again. As simple as that.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Have a great night. Okay, the last caller. Who will this be? From London. All right. Hello.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Calling from London, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you for having me.
All right, go on, please.
Yeah, I want to start by thanking the honorable gentlemen that you brought on the show today. They have really opened up, and we've understood some of the things that have been happening behind closed doors, which some of us were not really aware. But what I really want to bring to the attention of the Amazonian people is I want them to see the reason why we need all of these people to come and tell us what they know, or what has been happening on the background. Because I hear some people asking questions, even some of my colleagues, they were asking me that what is the reason why we have all these things coming on the social media, like it's caused a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
So, but I just want to explain to the Amazonian people to understand that we need these people to come, like those panelists that you had today on the show, which some of them, they said things that were really, really inside, which some of us, we wouldn't want them to come up and say some of these things, but we are happy that they are saying this. And the reason I want people to understand is when they talk like this, they help some of us to know next time, like if we have to give our money to the revolution, we know who are there and who we need to be accountable for.
Mm-hmm.
So we need people like you to tell us, so that those people who they are maybe fortunate to be in a position of responsibility in Amazonia, so when they have maybe some projects to execute, they must make sure that they execute it to the best of their knowledge.
because there's been a lot of mismanagement, and I think that's some of the problems that we are having now. A lot of people are not contributing to the revolution. But when we have people who come on board and tell us some of these things, like some of the revolution, like the case in, I think in Momo, the case where, so I think some of those things were really necessary, so that next time we kind of know who these people are, and we'll make sure that we do not have such people come on board to manage any funds. If next we have another projects, like we know there are going to be much projects coming up in the near future, but people need to be accountable. If you are in a position where you are being given a responsibility to execute the project, make sure you do it, because if you don't do it, Amazonia have records. Like what is happening now? There are people who are taking down records for everything. Know that in the future there will be people who ask you, and they'll ask you, you have to be responsible. Tell us what you did with this. If you cannot come on the show, because I hear some people say some of these people, they've mentioned their names, they don't want to come on the show. They have to come and clear the air. I think they have the opportunity to clear their name. If they've called you, say you mismanage funds, come and tell us. If these people are saying, they said, if it's a lie, if it's true, at least be bold enough to own up that you made a mistake. This is what happened. This is what happened. At least it will give some confidence to the Amazonian people to know that their revolution is in a good hands. But if people don't own up,
all right, run up. We get your point.
Okay, and one more thing, last thing, I'll talk on the Restoration Council. I just want to send this message to them and thank them very much for what they've been doing for the revolution. But I think at this junction now, they have to be really, really, really serious with what they are doing.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Council members, I need to write some of them. I need to know.
All right, thank you. We get you. Thank you. Have a great night, sir. Let me get ground zero. Hello.
Hello, Secretary Chris.
Please turn down the volume of your set.
Yes, I've done so.
No, I can still hear the echo in the background.
Okay, can you get me now?
All right, that is good. Where are you calling from, sir?
I'm calling from Ground Zero.
Okay, and where on Ground Zero?
In Sako'S zone.
All right, what is your contribution?
Yeah, my contribution is that we have been hearing all the scandal of Dr. Sako. To me, if they give someone a position, a trust, and the person fail in his position, and from the audios, it shows that a person in that level, because from the two panelists, what the two panelists have been saying, I've listened to all what they have been saying, and based on what Dr. Sako is saying, it means that he is lying. Dr. Sako is lying. So I don't think a man with such a position will be lying like that. So to me, the Restoration Council can just go on and do their work by step him down and look for a different person to manage the position. But Secretary, I would say, president, all this title of a thing, these are the things that make people to feel that they are already a president. We should organize something and put a chairman. A chairman is not sounding like a president. If they make a president, it sounds heavy. So
all right. It doesn't matter, right? The title. I mean, the difference is just between the titles, right? Does it really make any difference? I think we are okay with the interim government. We just need some accountable leadership. Thank you for the call, sir. Thank you for the call. I have to run. Okay. All right. If this was ground zero, I would have taken it, but it's not ground zero. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. I will give my panel the 1 minute each to have the final say. Comrade Jackson, please.
Okay. You had some very interesting calls today. Thank you,
You can
Secretary
see
Chris.
where our people are leaning to.
Yes, I can see. Well, and again, somebody said something that some of the information was not supposed to be here, but because of the situation in which we are, is very necessary, and I thank them. So what I would say is that to end, um, we, especially the Ambazonian people, because of the government, we notice that people that have been appointed have engulfed themselves, encapsulate themselves, to use a right word, and they feel that they are in a cocoon now, very safe in it, and they think they can dictate to the rest of the Ambazonians. And that's why they think that the Restoration Council, which emanates from the people, they can bully them, insult them in public, because they know that they have the ear of the president. And this should be very clear to everybody. Everybody that is serving in a cabinet position is serving at the mercy of the president. He appointed them. But these people do not have the mandate of the, only one person has the mandate of the people. That is the president. And but it is on the other way around now in Ambazonia. Every single cabinet person thinks that they are the alpha and the omega. And that is why some people are beginning to feel a little bit iffy with the issue of the government. It was not supposed to be there. There was so much enthusiasm when we came up with the government, but because of how it is being managed and run today, it is turning people away from it. Now we have to go back to educate and sell this thing again to people, because simple things that were supposed to be done are not being done. And somebody make a very interesting comment there, that Dr. Sako wanted to train boys from Momo County. What happened to his own county where he comes from? He was supposed to maybe start training from home. They say charity begins at home, but should not end at home. Before coming to Momo to train, but we know that there's one thing that was the osmosis. The osmosis in it was the finance. That was what was drawing people to Momo to come and suck on that little money that they heard was in Momo, and that is what is bringing them down today. Thank you, Secretary Chris. We may have time some other time to talk. There's
Thank
so
you,
much.
sir.
There's so much.
Thank you. Thank you. You have a great night. Let me turn to Dr. Atienjo, sir. You have 1 minute. Dr. Atienjo, it seems you are muted. Look at Dr. Atienjo, I think you are muted on your side. Your
Yeah,
microphone
shake
is
your
not on.
microphone.
We can't hear you.
Can't hear you. I'm a conclude for him.
Yeah, I don't know what he did with his microphone. It's muted from his end. Well,
There's a little bar beneath. If you touch on it, on your microphone will open.
no, Dr. Atienjo, we lost you. We can't get your microphone. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will call it. We will call it a night. But before I go, I just like to remind all of you, ladies and gentlemen, please, we are heading towards the right direction. We are having a very, very important and critical APP meeting on Thursday, the coming Thursday. We are inviting every Ambazonian to show up. We are inviting every Ambazonian to show up and be at that APP meeting. Some people are asking, what is the way forward? What is the way forward? The way forward, I believe, will be spelled out will be figured out from that APP meeting coming up on Thursday. Please send this invitation as you come across in the social media to every Ambazonian out there who is an independentist. Every Ambazonian who is an independentist, please send this invitation to them. It is very critical. We want to see at least 1,000 Ambazonians. 1,000 Ambazonians gathered on Thursday to figure out the next direction for the struggle. Before I go, I'd like to invite you to visit our website, absafricatv.com. absafricatv.com, ladies and gentlemen. And once you get there, you want to support ABS, please hit the donation button. Hit the donation button and subscribe to ABS Fan Club. With a little talking that you can, so that we can keep ABS in the air. When I started this thing, many of you know, we were told that, how did Secretary Chris start a TV station in 2 days or in 2 weeks? How did that happen? Where did he get the money? Ladies and gentlemen, some good Ambazonians who saw the vision put down the money. And I want to encourage every one of you, if you support and like what you see here, please get to the website. Again, absafricatv.com. Hit on the donation button or the fan clubs button and subscribe to become a fan of ABS so that we can keep on coming to you with vital information like this that lifts off our struggle. It was a pleasure coming to you today. I look forward to seeing you again, possibly by God's grace, on Monday. You have a great and beautiful weekend. Good night.
Would you pay $1,000 to advertise on TV for 1 hour per week for 12 months or for a full year? You pick a day, on Sunday or Saturday. ABS knows Africa and have a viewership that covers it from Cairo to Cape Town. Call us today to find out more about this offer. Your ministry, church, business, nonprofit can benefit from this. Call us today before the spots are all taken. Would you?
Because you get your day. I get my day, you too get your day. I get my time, oh, you too get your time. Everybody gets the own day where God go bless thee. And so when my day breaks, I beg no jealous me. I get my day, your day. I get my time, oh, you to get your time. Everybody gets the own day where God go bless you. And so when your day breakfast, I no get for jealousy. As they no be born me and you for the same day. Now so me and you, we get with different days for blessing. If God will bless me today, no vex with me. No gossip me, no talk against me. Come from my house, come join me celebrate. Because when God will bless you too, we go join you celebrate. I get my day, you too get your day. I get my time, oh, you too get your time. Everybody get the own day where God go bless you. And so when my day breakfast, I beg no jealous me. I get my day, you too get your day. I get my time, oh, you too get your time. Everybody get the own day where God go bless you. And so when your day breakfast, I no get for jealousy. If God give me motor, or He give me piggy, or He give me money, or He give me husband, or He build me house, no vex with me, oh. No talk against me, make you not jealous me. Just no say, now my time for God for bless me. Because when your own day come, people go join you celebrate. I get my day, you too get your day. I get my time, oh, you too get your time. Everybody get the own day where God go bless you. And so when my day breakfast, I beg no jealous me. I get my day, you too get your day. I get my time, oh, you too get your time. Everybody get the own day where God go bless you. And so when your day breakfast, I no get for jealousy. The fact say God delay for bless you, my brother. The fact say God delay for bless you, my sister. Make you no hurry, because if you hurry for life, you go fall for bid way, you no go fit for come on. Get patient for this life where you dey live. Make you no hurry, because your time for blessing they call. Be patient with God, because God must bless you. When your day for blessing come, people go join you celebrate.